Solberg won round 1 in Portugal, and after a hard-fought final, Andreas Backerud took round 2 at Newcomer in the UK.
It was crazy. I mean, the overtake was brilliant. In the final there, I hit the topi with my rear wheel, and I was thinking, okay, now I get the puncture, now it's over. But I was keep on going, pushing, and yeah, I mean, we had a good pace and good speed in the final, so we managed to come first.
The big surprise of Lyndon Hill, though, was Robin Larsson in his brand new Audi A1 Supercar. He was second overall and first European driver.
We came there as we want to get to the semi-final as a really good target, and we just first good heat and second good heat, so it just keep going on really good. We were second just after Backerud, so I'm very pleased with that and really good start.
In the championship standings, Backerud leads from Solberg and Ford Olsberg Genesee are the top team. Round 3 of the World Rallycross Championship takes place at Hell in Norway. While Norway is round 3 of the World Championship, it's round 2 of the European Championship. The village of Hell is in the north of Norway, around 30 kilometres from Trondheim. The Norwegian round is the first of 3 in Scandinavia. One man who's a long way from home is Monster Energy star athlete Ken Block, who makes his World Rallycross debut here in Norway, along with the EKS RX team. One car is driven by Matthias Ekström and the other by Pontus Tiedemann. Here's our track guide presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the start, it's down and then back uphill towards turn 1, sharply downhill into turn 2, and continuing all the way down to the hairpin at the very bottom of the hill. It's hard on the power all the way back up, a tricky left over a crest, and in the right hairpin, crucial to get the power down and a jump over the start finish. Under the sunny skies of northern Norway in the village of Hell, round 3 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship got underway with the battle of everybody wanted to see, F1 versus WRC. 1997 Formula 1 champion Jack Villeneuve got the better of 2003 World Rally champion Peter Solberg in a fantastic race of the day.
To be fighting with him was very exciting. The sad thing with that is we both ended up losing time.
Liam Doran recovered from a dreadful start to the season. He got the whole shot, won his heat and was very quick overall. It was a good start for the new EKS RX team, particularly exciting race with Matthias Ekström from Rotor Malta, and a fantastic battle between Timmy Hansen and Frank Back. Hansen slotted in front of the Norwegian championship leader. Backerud fell foul of the enormous curves at Hell. No such problem with teammate Rainer Stitch, young Latvian was full of confidence on his way to fastest time in
All good, you were the fastest guy and you didn't push.
Heat 2 is very nearly deja vu for Andreas Backerud. He came together with Robin Larsson. Larsson, podium man Lyndon, found to start Heat 1. Great drive. Ken Block is Norway on his World RX debut. He have a great start and a fantastic pass on his heat race. Teammate Pontus Tiedemann and Matthias Ekström ran together for their entire heat until Ekström made a mistake towards the end. Race 5 was all about the Solberg brothers and the Joker lad. Hector Solberg made contact with Christoph Brunski at the start of the race. Heading Solberg with Brustad later on, resulted in Brustad's retirement. In the final heat race of Heat 2, it was Doran who was fastest overall, nearly half a second quicker than Rainer Stitch. Nittis sits atop the standings overnight.
I know where I can drive faster, but yeah, more or less I'm happy with the first place in overall after day 1. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow is the main race, and yeah, we have all evening now in the front, and we will be there and just sit down and think about tomorrow's race.
Rainer Stitch in first then, with Doran second, Heikkinen third, Timosjanov and Hansen. The championship leader Andreas Backerud is way down in 21st. Ken Block and Jacques Villeneuve right at the cut-off point for the semi-finals.
At the moment you're 7th after Heat 1 and 2. You're obviously at home, we're in Norway, we're at Hell, and your biggest fans are probably here. How confident are you for a win here in Norway?
Well, honestly, rally is almost easy to fight for a victory than this, because everything can happen in the first corner, and you see today it's a lot of fights, and you have to come alone, and with 38 cars is massive challenges to go through before you can even reach a semi-final. So I'm in the middle position in the third heat tomorrow, and I really want to come to the final and fight for victory and really make people happier, and also same as Val and Baku and well, what can you say? We just have to keep on fighting and work a little bit with the car now to try to get things a little bit better.
This is your first race in the World Rallycross Championship, and you also mentioned it's your first race on a proper rallycross track. How has it been so far?
It's been really good. I've really enjoyed the track itself. You know, I had less than 20 laps on before I did my first heat race, so I had to figure it out very quick, but I was able to put in some good laps in practice, and I was the 4th fastest in practice, so that was a good way to start. But the whole start procedure here is totally different than how we do it, you know, in the States, so that's taken me a bit to get used to, and I've had 2 starts where I just wasn't quick enough off the line, so tomorrow I got to work on that. But hey, I was stoked to come here and first time be able to be quick on the track and win a heat. That's a big accomplishment for me. You know, I realized how good all these guys are here, and I knew that it's going to be a bit of a learning process, and it's been that. But you know, I want to be somewhere near the podium tomorrow, so I need to step up my game on the starts tomorrow and hopefully get there.
You know, I know we can do it. I know we can go fast enough. There's not really a massive doubt, but you just start to doubt yourself a little bit. But yeah, it's working now, and we're going fast enough. I know we can go faster tomorrow. I still made mistakes, and the dust was hard to follow today, so we can make up time in that area. But yeah, we just got to do what we need to do and just keep consistent and get into the finals.
What's the greatest challenge out on this track here in Norway?
It's just a technical track all around. There's not really anywhere particular that's hard. It's just it's a real technical track. It's everywhere is a challenge. It's a great track. It's a really good track for that, for the challenge and being a driver. But you've got to nail every corner, you know. And so far, I've been doing it.
Doing very good job. Everything is great, and
Big crowds in Norway as Heat 3 gets underway, and Rustad was the first man to bring some action super sideways up into the joker lap. Didn't intend to get in there quite that quickly, but got caught out on the bumps and did an absolutely fantastic job to hold on to it. Down at the bottom of the hill, Habsjorg span. Christopherson collected him. That was it for Habsjorg. Ramona Carlson recovering from yesterday. She had broken steering. Back out in the Saab. Sideways down the hill, but it was this man, Rustad, who took the win in race 1. Daniel Holton was into the first corner first, driving in one of the Osberg's MSC Fiestas, green and white livery car. Up and over this crest here, far too close on the inside, flicked the curve, went sideways, lucky not to have an enormous accident. Thanks to a little bit of contact, managed to keep it on the track. Coopney ended up in the gravel. The race victory for Daniel Holton. Ekstrom had a very bad start in his race here and he's on board, has to slot in behind Val and Birmingham. Val was early on the brakes, and then it was contact all the way through the first couple of corners. Tight left-hander, which is where the Joker merges, has seen so much action last year around this, but Ekstrom very brave on his entrance into the Joker, and too brave in fact, got the car sideways, up and over the curve. Bit of car control, bit of luck, managed to hold on to it. Val took the heat race victory. Ekstrom, more problems for him. In fact, ended up being a broken drive shaft, which saw him spin down to turn 1. Race 4, Cross Station Inn was left on the start line along with Derek Tohill. Cross Station Inn looked like it might be terminal. Tohill managed to carry on, and this spin to help his chances. It was Henning Solberg who took the race. Heat 3, race 5. Hit heads from the inside. Andreas Backerud, Timmy Hansen, Lucas Walfridson and Christos Karupski. This one should be fast. Inside line then, Peter Hedström. You'll be familiar with him if you watched Rallycross RX last year. He was a permanent driver when it was a European Championship. I think he's back in the European Championship this year, but alongside him, a bunch of guys who are doing the World Championship. So Backerud, Hansen and Skorupski in particular. Backerud's the king of the fast start. Let's see if he can do it. Very, very even start across. Backerud's just got in front of Hedström. He might have enough room to close the door. He does. Hansen and Backerud and Hansen both go to the Joker lap. With them has gone Wilkinson.
Great start to set. Just waiting for the quickest reaction. The best starts in the championship. He got a great one. He just covered Hedström. I don't know if he could do it. Then was forced to go to the very so much speed, strong getting in front of Hedström to block him. Then was forced to take it, but that would have cost him everything because he was side by side and he got the inside turn.
Now Backerud and Hansen, two very, very quick young drivers in Supercar. The best thing they can do now is make the trainers get a crack on, because if Hansen keeps nibbling away at Backerud, they're going to slow each other down.
Yeah, I really don't think they'll start back. These guys know exactly what they're doing, exactly what they need to do. So, Hansen and Backerud, I think, would know that they're just going to keep their heads down, not back too much, and get a good quick hit. That being said, for Hansen, it will be frustrating Backerud as well, but he knows he could be getting a good hit.
Great to see Skorupski on a decent run here. The Monster Energy World RX team had an absolutely torrid start to the season. Linton Hill, I'm afraid, were disasters for them. Skorupski, though, definitely being held up by Helmut.
You can see he breaks right up to the smack corner there, and that then nurture approach and Backerud Hansen straight up to them. That's definitely, they're going to undercut them and Hedström to take the Joker.
So Skorupski then really needs to take the Joker if Hedström doesn't, and there he goes around the outside, so he knows he's being held up. In some ways, I think really should have done that lap 2, Andrew.
I think so, and that's something the spotter needs to tell them, because as a driver, you concentrate so much on what you're doing, you can't see what everyone's doing behind, so it's part of the driver, you need to take make your own decisions. The spotters up here in the tower at different times, so he can see what the others are doing behind, so he should be able to get out of the traffic and try and come out for it.
Peter Hedström leading then, but the gap back is very little indeed. It's only a 2-second gap, I think, between him now and Backerud less. Initially, that's less. Backerud and Hansen's
going really quick to the 39%. Practice was the quickest lap anyone took at 39 down, but the tyres were confused, so he's really, really quick.
Timmy Hansen, I'm sure we'll talk about later on, but they're fresh from the same Holliers test, which we all know crashed. Peter Solberg was out as well, and Timmy said to me, he was so comfortable in the car, the most comfortable he's ever felt in a rallycross car.
That's a huge thing for a driver. It's a new car, and they got them ready. They were against time to get ready for the first round, so they're all going to be a little bit better than how they're doing, and they want to get to feel comfortable as a driver, and as you can press on with the point. He just got more confidence. He looks like he's been held up for an accident. Looks like he's not right on his body all the time. He's just taking his eyes, distracting him.
Hansen is right behind him. It's going to be a good time for both those guys, both in the 2:45s, Andrew.
That's a good time, so that's actually quicker than the quickest time yesterday.
Oh, that's Skorupski just after the commentator's curse. We've just said that they'd had a result and it looks like it's gone wrong. Peter Hedström looks like he's being recovered as well. We missed all this because, of course, we were concentrating on their battle at the front. Let's have a look and see the result. Andreas Backerud winning from Timmy Hansen. Backerud with the fastest time of the weekend so far. Lucas Valfridsson in third. Peter Hedström has finished, but is now being recovered. Krzysztof Skorupski with the DNF. Replays from that race then. Backerud and Hansen very, very fast and straight into the Joker. Bit of contact between those two. Valfridsson was in fact in front of Hansen, look.
Not sure where Hansen got that back, but that will have cost Hansen some more time. He goes wide into the left-hander, Wolfenson does there. I think Hansen gets underneath him, so it won't have cost him too much time, but very frustrating. A bit of contact, but that's just a bit of rubbing here and there.
Rubbish racing. I think a lot of rubbing in rallycross, isn't there?
You can see the relief there with UC Pinamaki. They had a tough day yesterday, and they're fighting for this championship, so they need every point they can get. So they've obviously had a good rethink on the car and driver, and they're right up there now.
On to the really fast boys then. Heat 3, race 6 on the inside, making his World Rallycross debut. Ken Block alongside him, Anton Markland, Pontus Tiedemann for the new EKS RX team, Emil Oman and Robin Larsson. Block then on the inside, but yesterday was left standing every time away from the lines, and even start, but what about jump start, surely. So that's Oman's car that you can hear going off on the shotgun.
I wanted to see who did the first reaction, and I think Block might have done that. I don't know, but Markland and Tiedemann didn't look like they moved, so they were completely fixed on the lights. And it's so easy to let the clutch open. You see cars alongside you go. It's so easy to do it, but obviously the jump start goes to the guy who set the trigger off first.
Here's a replay.
Yeah, I think it's Ken Block or Oman in the red.
It's really tight, isn't it? All four of them kind of jumped. I mean, they must have reacted.
My eye isn't good enough.
12 centimetres is the tolerance between where the car sits and when it triggers the jump start sensor. So if it was a jump start for Ken Block, that'll be 2 joker laps.
Yeah, they get 2 jokers. So try and keep an eye and see if they who they give the 2 joker lap board to. That'll be a huge shame.
Car number 5 is apparently the official jump starter. There's Pontus Tiedemann, so that wasn't what we were expecting, but we're hearing through our headsets that Pontus Tiedemann is probably the guy who set it off. And there is the board at the front of the car. We can see from the commentary position they're holding up the double joker lap. There we are, and that was
very surprised. He must have been creeping a little bit because to the eye you couldn't actually see him moving much. So he must have just been maybe quite up against the handbrake enough. As I said earlier, he blamed the clutch against the handbrake, so just such a fine line to reach and give enough handbrake.
With a dreadful start, don't forget everyone behind him is joker, so bit of a disaster for Larson, and of course he missed heat 1 yesterday completely.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare so far. You know, we saw at Lyndon how quick he was. I think this is going to be a real quick heat for Ken Block, if I'm honest. His first lap was very quick, and I think, you know, he's got the first out of the way. He showed good pace, just a little bit bad start, and this is exactly what he needed. I think we're going to see him very, very quick indeed. On board here again with Mark. You can see how, look at the concentration on his eyes. Such high speed over the gravel sections.
That bump as well, Andrew, you can see there the whole steering column moved. Ken Block now around the right-hander up towards the start-finish line. There's a huge bump on the backside of the circuit. Block with a small jump in comparison to what he's used to doing. Chief Hoonigan, of course, best known for his Gymkhana videos. Larson goes to the joker lap, so we need to see now what the gap's going to be between Block and Markland, Oman and Tiedemann to see whether or not he's going to be able to slot back out after his joker lap. I'm not sure, Andrew.
It might be close, yeah. There's just around 4 seconds between Markland and Block, so it's going to be close when Block takes the joker lap. They'll be in his ear on the radio telling him to actually push like mad on this lap, but not make any mistakes, because mistakes cost so much time. It's so easy to make them in these races.
And it's hard, isn't it? Push, but don't make a mistake.
Yeah, they want everything, don't they? But it's, you know, it's just so hard to try and keep it neat, but get the time. You saw the massive backfire as the car was 4 wheels off the ground.
Block to the joker lap, then smoothly over the bumpy section, pitches the car into the gravel. It's all going to be about the merge. He's on the power. Markland's got him already. Where's he going to come out? Block slots out in second place. Now these two guys need to push to the finish. Block sideways in. Oman there in the front of our shot, all the way out and across the gravel trap as well. That goes to show how tricky that downhill left-hander is.
We've seen all weekend how tricky that is. Markland to the 39.1 on his best lap, so he's absolutely flying. Again, not worrying so much about the start or when people are taking the joke lap. He looks very relaxed behind the wheel as well, so this is going to be a good time for Markland, I would expect.
Big improvement for Anton Markland through the winter. He's a different driver this year. He takes the heat race victory. Ken Block comes through in second place. 2:44.8. That's the fastest of the season so far. Larson won from there.
I don't know if Larson just broke suspension or something. Nearly a big crash coming over the finish line. Suddenly lurched left, so he's broke suspension on the curb or something like that.
What a finish to that race. That was fantastic. It doesn't disappoint. Rallycross RX as normal towards the later heats. The fast guys are out there. Here's the result. Anton Markland from Ken Block, both with fast times. Larson came through in third, in fact, with Oman and Tiedemann at the back. Let's have a little look at the replays from that heat race. Away from the line, great start by Ken Block, and he went to the inside, of course, because Markland carried so much speed.
He made his mind up down there. He was going to the joke lap, so he actually goes past the inside car as he's going to the joke lap. You can see he actually missed the gear stick there. There's so much going on, so many big bumps. He looked, very, very impressive in that. It's the quickest time so far. So he's absolutely fine. They've obviously made some changes overnight, and that car's working really, really well. And as you said, he's made huge improvements from last year. Really good job.
And there he is, the Hoonigan himself, Ken Block. A lot of people here to see him this weekend. First of several outings in the World Rallycross Championship this year, and a great addition to the grid. Sitting in 13th overnight, let's hope he can bump himself up into the semis. This was Markland over the line. Fastest time of the weekend so far. Time for the final heat race then of Heat 3. Liam Doran on the inside, fastest yesterday in Heat 2. Rainis Nitish alongside him, Petter Solberg, Timo Timosyanov and Topi Heikkinen. Well, how do you pick the fastest person away from the line in this? These are the cream of the crop in the World Rallycross Championship. The fastest guys from yesterday. Doran, great to see him back on the pace again and massively relieved to be up there. Alongside him, Nitish, who just quietly gets on with it. They're ready to go already. Away from the line, Timosyanov, did he jump the start, or was that the best reaction time I've ever seen in my life?
Wow, what a start. There's no red flag or anything, so I wouldn't say that was a jump. He's obviously just timed that to absolute perfection. He was 2 car lengths up on everyone by the time he's probably grabbing third gear.
That was like Solberg in Portugal last year. You remember, he absolutely killed it off the start, and then tried to do the same in the semi and got done for the jump start.
Is it judgment or skill?
Luck, isn't it? I think there's a bit more luck than judgment in that one, definitely. But either way, Timosyanov, the double European Rallycross champion and the current champion, leads this one. Tricky start to his season with a brand new 208 from Peugeot Hansen. Behind him, Liam Doran, another person who struggled. But in third place, Rainis Nitish, he hasn't struggled at all this year. Aside from the retirement at Linden Hill in the final, he's been absolutely on fire.
He's been spectacular. Certainly this weekend he's been quick all year, but this weekend he's been on another level. These guys will know this is going to be a very quick heat, so again it's that dilemma. Do you try and go for the win or the interrupt your position, or do you know it's going to be a quick heat? On board here with the ever exciting
Petter Solberg. Yeah, love watching Petter's on board. Look at the amount of
guys that drives so sideways, but still is absolutely flat out, so quick compared to some of the neat tidy guys.
He defies the rule book, doesn't he? The rule book says, oh, you need to be tidy, you're going to lose time. So we saw him yesterday on his recce lap. You're going to be tidy this year, so Solberg, oh no, he says, I'm having too much fun.
Like you were stupid.
He did, didn't he? Yeah,
he's going to be tidy.
He did. He's not going to be tidy, he's going to be spectacular. Doran goes to the Joker lap. Nitish goes with him. Nitish very sideways. Great car control from the young Latvian there. Manages to get the car back where he wants it. And now Timosyanov's clearly in front. Doran and Solberg, they came together there at this point last year. But Doran gets out in front of Solberg. Great job by him. He's flying.
Yeah, great job there by Duran. I wonder with the start lights if they were a very quick change, because the guy, Heikkinen was left standing there and he's been very quick every start so far this year I've seen. So I wonder if it was a real quick change and Timosyanov was the one on the ball the most.
But a quick look at the lap times, Andrew. What are we thinking? Is this going to be quick
pretty
or not?
39.3, 39.4. Markland was a 39.1 in the last heat, so he's going to be tough to beat. Timosyanov, I can see out in the commentary box, has taken the Joker lap, so it's going to be interesting to see where he slots out with Duran.
So look at Liam Spotters there, and Timosyanov is inside him. Oh! But Doran takes it, so Timosyanov slots in second place. Solberg is in third. So basically the guys who didn't go to the Joker lap early are the ones who've done it. Timosyanov has a look up the inside of Doran. Does he hit him or not? Is he going to get better traction on the exit? He's on the tar, but Solberg dropped back from them. It looks like Timosyanov is quicker than Doran up the hill. There's nowhere to go past. One line around the left-hander, just the right-hander to go. Doran's going to take this bar any mistakes in the final turn. So Monster Energy World RX team take the heat race victory, but it's super close between them and Peugeot Hansen. Solberg, Nitish, Heikkinen, fantastic.
2:44.6 there for Liam Durant. He goes quickest overall in the third heat, as he was quickest in the second heat. So this weekend is turning out to be a good weekend for Liam.
So Liam Doran then with a 2:44.6. Timosyanov dips into the 2:44 as well. Petter Solberg with a 2:45. Nitish and Heikkinen. Absolutely fantastic. Molly is up in the iron spotters tout. Let's see who she's with.
Norway loves Liam, obviously.
Yeah, good speed here, I think. The track's coming to us. We had good speed in round 1 and 2, just a bit of a problem with the luck. Seems to be going our way now, so fingers crossed. Let's get a good final.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the replays from that fantastic heat race and the final heat race of Heat 3. Away from the line, look at Timosyanov on the right-hand side. Everybody It looked like the cars went to go.
And everyone else's reaction was about the same, and he's 2 lengths ahead there. So I'll have to go and speak to him and say, did you get a great reaction or did you judge it correctly?
A bit of an outrageous start from Timosyanov, but no jump start penalty, job done. Liam Doran managed to get the jump on Peter Solberg, and then when they all slotted back in place, Timosyanov came in behind Doran, and those two both went into the 2:44s, along with Anton Markram from the previous heat. So they're getting faster and faster as the weekend goes on. There's 1 heat left to go, and we're going to see who's going to be able to make it through to the semi-finals. Up and over the line, Doran, Timosyanov, Solberg, and in fact you could have thrown a blanket over all 5 of them. Here's how they stand after Heat 3. Liam Doran is on top of the qualifiers. Great job by him. Reinis Nittish quietly getting on with it as normal. Timosyanov, Heikkinen, Markland, Hansen, Solberg, and Ken Block now up into the semis. Emil Oman, Jack Villeneuve, Henning Solberg, and Pontus Tiedemann are just inside. The World Championship leader Andreas Backerud is just outside the cut. 1 heat to go. 2-time DTM champion Matthias Ekström has returned to Rallycross after his 2nd place finish in Sweden last year, but this time with his own team. The EKS RX team brings their brand new Audi S1 to the grid with JWRC champion Pontus Tiedemann as the 2nd driver.
I think it's a great time generally for Rallycross, because the level of action this sport is offering is fantastic. The cars are really great, and I mean, if you just have a look on a race, on a Supercar final, or you have a ride in a car, I think that tells it all, and I want to be a part of it because I think this sport has a great future.
To win a Rallycross RX round, you have to master the track and beat your rivals 6 times over 2 days. If this wasn't a big enough challenge already, there's one extra factor to consider: the wildcards. And who better to mix up the pack than Gymkhana superstar Ken Block, who makes his World RX debut here in Hell.
I've watched this championship for many years on the internet, and there's some really amazing tracks in this championship and a lot of really good drivers. So I think it's going to be quite a challenge, but that's why I'm here. I want to see where I stand in this world of European Rallycross and have some fun battling with guys like Peter Solberg.
With such high levels of competition in the championship, what do the newcomers expect from themselves here in Norway?
Since I started racing, my aim was always to have the biggest trophy on the Sunday afternoon. And there's no difference here. I mean, still, we haven't been done any race. The team is very new and the car is brand new. I mean, it can be you come here, everything runs fine and you have a successful weekend, or it can be that you have troubles. Either way, we are a bunch of winners. We are here to do our best and we try to put attention to detail. And I mean, the result in the end, I only wish one thing, that the result on Sunday afternoon is what we deserve. So take away the luck, take away all the bull, and I hope we get a fair result.
Well, my expectations are to really have fun. I want to learn the track quite quick, which I generally get tracks figured out quite quick, and then figure out where I stand with everybody else in the first practice, and then try and get quicker and quicker. So for me, I don't really have a huge expectation. I'd love to just be able to go out and battle with, Petter and Liam and everybody else, and really try and have a good result on the weekend.
Jack, the weekend is going great for you so far. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good. We were quicker yesterday, but got in traffic. Slower today, but less traffic, and it pans out good. So that's a little bit how Rallycross works. You need a bit of luck as well. And so far, so good. We still have one qualifying race, and if that one goes well, then we should make it to the semis, which would be a lot of fun. It's a fun track.
Because after Heat 3, you're obviously in 10th place overall. What do you look at now going into Heat 4? You look at the competitors, I guess you look at about how fast they are.
Well, the key is to actually have, it's not just winning that race or not, it's trying to get a race where you don't lose time fighting with people, because right now we have to make sure we stay in the top 12, and it's very close with the points.
You obviously have a friend and former competitor from Formula 1 here.
Yeah, David Coulthard has shown up, and I think he's been enjoying watching it. He says he doesn't want to drive, but I'm sure there's a part of him that's missing the excitement.
I guess if he got to try a car, then he would change his mind.
I'm trying to force him into it.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Liam, you had a minor incident this morning, but that didn't matter because you came back in Heat 3 and set the fastest time of the weekend.
Yeah, happy is the best thing I could say. Yeah, I had a problem in practice again, but nothing major. The track's pretty rough out there, and hit a hole that I probably should have tried to go around, but looking for time all the time, looking for speed and try everything you can. So, but yeah, got round it. Didn't really get much track time this morning, but obviously it didn't seem to matter. I started with my game plan not to win that race. I just started that I'm second overall in the overall and get a top 6, maybe even a top 10 time, keep getting to the end. I just want to get to a semi-final after the season so far. I just want to get to the semi-final. So started the game plan with nothing major, just take it easy and follow everyone around, and got to the first corner and realised that probably it wasn't going to be as easy as yesterday because I hadn't got into the first corner first, but still had a chance. So I followed them around and did my own thing, and team called good shouts for the Joker and stuff and told me when to push, and it all worked out for me. I came out in the lead. It was a bit of a surprise for me, to be honest.
So what's the game plan now before Heat 4?
Well, the game plan for Heat 4 really is not to try and win. The game plan for Heat 4 is just to get around the track, make sure I finish, because if I ruin what I've done this weekend now, I don't know what I do. So I've got to go out there and literally give it up and just go around and follow around and get a safe time and just make sure I get into semi-finals, because anything can happen from there. But it's hard not to try and win when you go out on these tracks, and the best drivers here are going to be the ones who want to win all the time, but you've got to try and read it in a little bit and be safe this time.
Heat 4, and it's the last chance saloon for those who've had problems earlier on in the day. Grosse Janin left on the start line. He revealed that he might not be able to make it through this one. Left the car there, wanted to get the points for the European Championship. Skorupski had a DNF in Heat 3, was leading this one. Tohill continuing the fight to learn how to drive a supercar, the reigning touring car champion in the European Rallycross Championship. It was Skorupski who managed to take the race victory in this one. Ekstrom with another bad start. He slotted in behind the other drivers. Bargy down at turn 1. But he took a fantastic joker lap, very, very fast around the outside of Hedstrom. With a bit of clear track, he managed to get the overlap, came in front after Hedstrom had jokered. The EKSRX team out in World Rallycross for the first time, with a bit to learn, but with a very, very promising start. Ekstrom extremely quick when he was on the track. Race 3 saw carnage. Walfredson caught in the middle of a bit of a sandwich on the way down to turn 1 in the yellow Clio. He managed to get it turned in, but as he exited, he collected Jensen and buried him in the barriers. Ramona Carlson, front right wheel, she had a puncture. That meant her wheels were locking up. And in fact then we think also a broken transmission. So a couple of spins for her. 600 horsepower through the rear wheels, just too much. It was Walfredson who took the heat race win. Here's how they line up for Heat 4, Race 4. Frode Holter on the inside in the Hyundai, Robin Larsen in the Audi, Emil Omen on the Christian Nordtveit, Pontus Tiedemann. Let's have a look and see how he does get away from the line. Long hold on this one. Oh, Tiedemann's had a problem. Tiedemann stalls at the line, it seems then. Larsen has got a good start with Holter on the inside of him. Omen around the outside. Omen gets a clout. All three of those guys end up going wide.
Holter's gone really wide. Now Ullman's at the inside of Larsen, but he's going to come out on top there. Tiedemann
just got away with it as well.
Very surprised Holter actually went to the joker up there. He was into the first corner first and decided to go to the joker, which we haven't really seen being done this weekend. Ullman looking at the inside of Larsen.
Larsen sideways on the brakes on the way down the hill. Pontus Tiedemann, I think, is probably going to get taken over by all these guys when he has to go and do his joker lap. What happened at the start? What do you think?
I would imagine the revs were set a bit too low. You've got different dials, you can adjust how many revs the car goes off on the launch control, and it just looked like it went initially in that box, so the revs were probably a bit too low.
So not ideal. He'll be pressing on and really hoping that maybe there are problems with some of the other drivers and that he can stay inside the top 12. Pontus Tiedemann, who takes the joker lap now, is the man who sits in 12th place in the overall standings. Just 2 back from him is Andreas Backer and 1 back Daniel Holton. So 2 Norwegian drivers, one of whom leads the World Championship, who will be desperate to make it through. Oh, Holter sideways in the Hyundai, and in fact has missed his breakpoint run wide. This could be an opportunity for Tiedemann
Larson looked a bit, yeah, he's up the inside
he has.
there. But Larson looked a bit slow. Whether I know at Linden Hill he had gearbox troubles, whether he's lost a gear or something, it looks slow picking up off the corner there. And with the Tiedemann start, there's not a lot he can do about that because he goes off at the start of the revs as being told to by the team, and it's all about just flat on the throttle, dropping the clutch and hope the revs are okay. So there's not really a lot the driver can do about it.
They're going to develop on the EKSRX again, talking to Matthias, saying to come here without much testing. They're hoping to get some testing before they go on to the next event and just iron out some of the gremlins. And really, I think the start's something they're going to have to focus on.
Yeah, I think so. The pace when the car's been going has been very impressive for its first round. The start's just holding them back. That's one of those things. I'm sure they'll factor that into their test program before the next race.
Not Biden's the only driver who hasn't taken his Joker lap yet. He comes over the line now. What's the gap back to the next car? Not very much. 2 seconds, I think. 2.1 seconds back to Robin Larson. Into the Joker lap he goes. And he's been overlapped by all of them. So it's actually, Tiedemann's done a pretty good job here. From a disaster of a start, he's going to come in right behind these guys.
Yeah, he's recovered it well actually. In his best lap, 39.6, that's right up there in the low 39s with some of the other quick guys. So he's recovered it, but it will be what could have been if he'd got a good start.
Shame for him.
There again, Larson looks a bit slow off that corner. Omen there really pulls onto him. You see how much that bump's getting deeper now. That could be a factor through the semis and the finals for any puncher. It's such a big bump now.
Robin Larson, who was second at Linden Hill, extremely unlikely to make it through to the semis, but he wins this heat race with Oman and Tiedemann right behind and not far away. Holter in the Hyundai coming in 5th place. Decent recovery. Let's have a look at what the results were. Robin Larson just ahead of Oman. Tiedemann 7/10 between the top 3. Nordveit and Holter. A look at the action from that one, away from the start then. So Tiedemann ended up getting left behind. Oman contact with Larson, and say Holter, I think even Larson was surprised that Holter went that way. Looked like, and then Holter outbraked himself anyway.
Very surprised. We haven't seen that the pole car takes the Joker lap, and as you say, then carried too much speed in, and he played into Larson's hands. So a bit of an unusual technique on the strategy. Holter there struggling whether he's got a problem. He looked like he outbraked himself and nearly hit Oman at the back, and that hurt his exit. And look at this slow-mo there, a little bit of contact. Larson with the 4 wheels spinning, trying to drive out the corner.
Great race then at the front between these 3, and a decent recovery from Pontus Tiedemann. Race 5, Heat 4, Daniel Holton on Toppy Heikkinen, Tord Linnerud in the middle, Jacques Villeneuve and Alexander Wahl. Jacques Villeneuve then, can he recover from the little bit of a mistake he made during the week in rolling one of Albertec's cars into a ball? Didn't have a great time in Portugal. I think that was a little bit car problems, to be fair to him. And Villeneuve's been much more impressive here. He's in 10th place at the moment in the overall standings. Here he is on board. He hasn't got to do much here to make it through to the semi-finals. Let's hope he can get the job done. A reasonable start, but he's going to get the door shut on him. Contact. Wahl's closed the door as well. Where's Villeneuve going to go? He's going to go to the standard lap. Good choice, I think.
Good choice, that will get him out of the traffic, but it looked like he lost a little bit of time because obviously he was thinking whether to go there or not, but great move. Linnerud in the side of Wahl there. That was very close to going into the concrete wall, but Holton and Villeneuve, who haven't taken, should be able to try and get their heads down and try and forget about the traffic behind them, see where they come in after they take the Joker.
Alexander Wahl, we're not looking at him right now, but someone I wanted to have a quick chat about. He doesn't seem to quite be getting on with Petter Solberg's settings.
No, as we've said, Petter is very different in his driving style and how the car's set up, and he pulls it off very, very quick with it. It looks spectacular. Obviously, different driving techniques need different car setup, but Wahl is used to the Hansen car, and the Solberg car might be set up a little bit too much for Solberg at the minute, so he's trying to get it a little bit stiffer so he can drive it as he wants to get the feedback and more confidence from the car that he's after.
Well, Villeneuve with a lock-up at the end of the straight, and I actually think he's falling back towards Toppy Heikkinen now, so Heikkinen is 3.1 behind.
The punch, he's locked up a few times now, Villeneuve. He's lost a huge amount on the first lap. As we've seen, there's big holes coming, we've seen some punches. I don't know if something looks a bit funny with that right front tyre.
So Villeneuve then, Andrew Jordan is on the spot. He thinks he might have
I think it's going flat.
So do I. It looks like it's gone soft, doesn't it? No, it won't turn in. In fact, it doesn't look like it's turning in either way. So come on, Villeneuve, you've got to make it through to the semis. Toppy Heikkinen's all over him now. Villeneuve still has to take the Joker lap. He takes the Joker now. Villeneuve then wide onto the Joker. Toppy is through. Val is through, and so is Linerud. So all those guys have gone through. Doesn't really matter. Villeneuve's just got to set a half-decent time, and he can make it through to the semis.
Yeah, he's got a puncher. I thought that, he dropped so much to Holton in the first lap. You could see it locking, and we don't see much locking in these cars. So Val there, again, that corner's catching a few people out. Whether it's the rain's changed it a little bit, it's nice and sunny now, so I wouldn't think so. But I would think Heikkinen's going to get a good heat time out of this. He'll come out in front, I think, when Holton takes his joker lap. He's been setting some pretty good lap time, so I think he'll be right up there again.
Heikkinen, one of those who took the joker right at the start. Holton goes wide into the joker lap. Holton at the apex of the joker. Look on the inside. There goes Toppy. Sweeps the VW Markman through the corner into the left-hander. As long as he doesn't outbrake himself now, it's job done. Holton's in second. Where's Villeneuve? How far back is he and how much time is he going to lose? Remember, he's in 10th in the standings overall. If he has a real shock here, Villeneuve is still there. He's still at the back.
Still
just
got to try and
trying
get
to
some
going,
sort of time. But Heikkinen's just set the fastest lap of the weekend on the 38.9, so that's really helped him. They'll have been on the radio saying, push like hell while Holton taking the joke lap. Very, very impressive.
Linerud up the inside of Val. Toppy over the finish. Holton in second. Val has dropped back behind Linerud. In fact, where is Val?
I don't know if Linerud made the maze in the gravel there at the last corner.
Yes, Val then is in the wall. So did he get pushed off there?
Linerud looked like he was quite hard on the initial move, but it didn't look like he was going to force him into the gravel, so whether it's broke his suspension or something. But Toppy's just set the fastest heat of the weekend on a 2:44.1.
Wow. So something that VW Markman have done has made a massive difference to these cars.
But also the track, the track changes, and the more the gravel gets swept away, the quicker the circuit goes. So it's how the driver can react to that and how the team can react to that with the car setup.
Molly has got Toppy Heikkinen with her.
Toppy, you've just set the fastest heat time this weekend.
Yeah, it was quite okay run. I was a little behind there. Villeneuve, I was stuck a little bit there, but otherwise, yeah, it was good run for us.
Good job by Toppy. There's Val, stranded at the moment.
I find it funny when Toppy says it was quite okay. To me, that was good.
Very, very good indeed. 2:44.1, better than quite okay, Toppy. Daniel Holton is in second, Tord Linner in third, Jacques Villeneuve fourth, and a DNF for Val.
Yeah, I think so. It was quite okay. I was stuck.
Replays then from this one might tell us where Villeneuve picked that puncture up. Villeneuve second from right. Contact, of course, on that start straight. Any chance there, Andrew?
It could be, it doesn't take much to cut one of these tyres. There's a bit of contact with Linerud on Villeneuve's right front. You can see Linerud getting stuck in again there, so being very forceful. But, it only takes a slight cut. And to me, the tyre looks like it's going down there and locking up. So I think it's already started to go down, because the grip's obviously not there from the tyre, so he's locking the brakes, so it'll just make it even worse.
Toppy Heikkinen, no problems for him. Fastest heat time of the weekend, and there was Val ending up running wide. So Val then broken, steering broken. Oh, yeah. Caught him out just before the start finish line. It's a shame for him. I don't think he was going to go through anyway. This was the moment that Toppy took the win. Holton was second and Linerud third.
Og videre på min så skulle vi kjøre om kapp, og da vi kjører med mindre biler, og vi kjørte med gode avstilte biler.
Robin Larsen, you had an amazing debut in the World Rallycross Championship at Lydden Hill. Now we're in Norway, things haven't been going as smooth. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have problems since we come here, so every heat I haven't drove one lap without problem. So just to come back to Helios and do a really good race there. So we haven't been successful here in 3 years now in Norway. So yeah.
So it's bad luck for you to be Swedish in Norway then?
Yeah, only bad luck. So it's not much to do. So we just gonna look forward.
Could you tell us about the problems you've been having?
We have a lot of engine problems. It's the main problem. The last problem now is the engine, so it's dead now. So we won the last heat, but no power in the engine. So
how many races will we see you doing in the World Rallycross Championship?
It's Helios next, and then all the European races. So maybe some more race. I hope so.
We'll hope you fix the engine problems, and best of luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Alexander Wall. This is my car, and this is how it's tricked up. It's a Julian Godfrey engine with Pipo tuning. So Pipo is running the engine for us this year, and it seems to work really well. This is my office. This spot I love. You know, it's personally made for me. The pedals, the brake pedals are really soft, so I have a really good feeling braking into the corner, make me brake as late as possible. Seat position, I like it to be a bit straight, not too far lean back or too far straight. And the steering wheel, I got all the good buttons here, you know. Everything is exactly how I want it. Gear shifter, handbrake tight and close to me. I can really reap this if I need to go sideways, Petter Solberg style. This is the cooling system for the car. It basically looks like a regular air condition, but it basically works the same way. But for the engine, we got 550 plus horsepower, and even when it's cold in the air, it's getting really hot, so we need some good cooling. This is the suspension of the car. This is really important to make the car drivable for me. Everybody got a special style of driving, and I like it a bit harder than, for example, my teammate Petter. Petter is driving a really soft car. Also with the roll bar, it's a bit stiffer than on Petter's car, but yeah, it's personalized for me. I really love this car.
Vi signert av Petter Solberg og Andreas Bakkerud. Og dere nå, som litt tappe på labben utover dagen.
Heat 4, race 6, getting faster now. Petter Solberg and Ken Block on the inside. Ex-WRC competitors, of course. Reinis Nittisch, Henning Solberg and Tommy Rustad. Petter Solberg on the inside, the Hoonigan alongside him, Nittisch in the middle. Let's see who's going to get down to turn 1 first. Block was slow off the mark. Yeah, Nittisch was very, very fast indeed. Solberg's up the inside. Who's going to go to the standard laps? Solberg does. Block does as well. Didn't have any choice. Rustad was around the outside of him. Rustad and Block down into turn 2.
Great move by Rustad there, around the outside. Braved out in all the dirt. Look at Block there, really sideways. But Nittisch got the best reaction, which then set him up great to take the joker lap and put him into some clear space.
So Block then with not the super fast reaction time. I think just a little way further back. Up through that bumpy section, Solberg is leading, and he'll be looking to put in a demon time here, move himself a bit further up the order and be on a higher row in the semi-finals, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't probably been as quick or dominant as he has been so far this year. I'm sure he's changing bits on the car, but Rustad at turn on board here, you can see, look, very relaxed, just oversteer on the way in and trying to get that traction on the way out. Really, really impressive. I always love watching Petter on board.
He pinched it in big time, didn't this morning in the warm-up. Here he is at one hand on the wheel, one hand on the gear stick. It's just a weapon.
You see how much the car dives, but then he gets it under control nice and neat. He gets the car straight for the exit. You know, so much horsepower on these cars. On a slippery surface, you need to try and get the wheels as straight as possible as you can for the traction. But going back to turn 1 with Rustad going around the outside of Block, we've seen that a couple of times now with Rustad and Ekstrom, so it is possible to try and sit it out around the outside, which then gives you inside for the left corner.
I think Block's been held up a bit by Rustad here. Neither of them's joking. It might be wise for Ken to go for the joker now. He goes around the outside, but he's gone super sideways. Gains time, and if he's on the gas early here, that's almost a Jim Carter move by Ken Block through the hairpin at the end of the straight and flicks it back the other way. Lovely transition. Great car control from Block there. I don't think it's going to get him past him, though.
I'm surprised he didn't take the joker. He looked like he was going to with a really, really wide approach, and then he didn't, and he pitched it in sideways into the normal part. So if I were Ken, I would have then taken the joker lap to try and undercut Rustad, but Nittisch is coming up very, very, very quick behind. He's setting real quick times on par with Solberg.
So Nittisch then is probably going to get the jump on these two when they take their joker lap. Solberg still to joker as well. Is it going to be tight between Solberg and Nittisch? It's about 4 seconds between them, so Nittisch here could take the lead. Watch for the merge. Nittisch is on the inside. Petter Solberg is going to slot out just in front. The crowd here in Norway go wild for Petter. He's their World Rally Champion from 2003. He leads in Heat 4. He's going to go through to the semi-finals if he doesn't have a problem before the finish, and it's not that far away. Half a lap to go. Nittisch is in second. Ken Block has dropped down to 5th after the joker laps.
Ken looks like he's been having a lot of sideways action, which looks great, but sometimes isn't as quick. But it's going to be a great win for Solberg, and also a really, really good time for Nittisch, which should stand him in real good shape for the semi-finals.
Solberg over the finish. We can hear the crowd over the noise of the Rallycross cars. 2:43.9, Andrew.
Very impressive. Again, the quickest time of the weekend. He's out the car celebrating, ever the showman.
Solberg on board, and we wondered where he'd gone for a moment. He was out the side of the door. The crowd, it's hard to hear the crowd over the cars here, particularly where we are. It's so noisy, but you can hear them when Petter took the heat race
Just
win.
as we said that he hadn't been quite as quick as he has been, you know, he banked in the quickest time so far.
Petter Solberg takes the win then. Reinis Nitish is in second, Tommy Rustad third, Henning Solberg and Ken Block. Let's see who Molly's got down at the finish.
Petter, you just set the fastest time this weekend.
Oh, bloody hell, it's good. I mean, it was about time. I am not been up to the standard for the people here to do what I've done. So the car got better, worked all the time. It's a very special track, and I should have been there testing beforehand, you know, but that was fantastic. I hope I can get a really good time now, so I can get top 4 spots in the I final.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Petter, very honest there. I've not been up to the standard of some of the others here. Well, he certainly was on this occasion. He was on the inside, Nitish around the outside. Nitish went straight to the joker lap, didn't want any argy-bargy in turn 1, and it was Rustad's move there, which was impressive. Solberg over the curbs, down the hill, and blocked super sideways in the background.
With Solberg saying he should have come and tested, you know, a lot of the teams are testing at every circuit before they come here, which, you know, then with him not testing, he's starting a bit behind, because look at Block, a massive slide, 4-wheel smoking, looks great, isn't probably quite as quick as it could be, but you know, he's probably learnt a lesson now, Solberg. He needs to get it tested so he can be starting at a higher level at the start of the weekend.
Solberg with the fastest time of the weekend, and look what it meant to him in front of his home crowd. Great job by him. Final heat race then of the weekend before we get to the semi-finals. Liam Doran, Timo Timosyanov, Anton Markland, Andreas Bakkerud and Timmy Hansen. That is the best lineup you're going to see in the final heat race, I reckon. Liam is atop the standings after 3 heats. It's been a complete transformation for him. Anton Markland, not an inkling of a blink away from the line though. Bakkerud's got a great start. Hansen stuck at the back. Timosyanov, contact between them. Where's he going to end up? Markland's off at the outside. Oh, he's still going. Markland's still going. Markland's still keeping it going. Timosyanov is in the lead. Doran is second and Hansen is third.
You can see it all started getting a bit, they're all squeezing each other a little bit at those sort of speeds, and then Markland actually rode up on one of the cars on the inside, which flipped him into a spin. Bakkerud played it and Schrieder went to the joker lap, so that would have played into his hands, but all action and we're slowly in the heats.
Do you think Bakkerud saw what was going on inside him and thought, I don't want to be involved in this? Or
I think he probably would have planned from where he was starting. He was 4th in the grid. I think he would have planned to take the joker lap anyway. But you know, the joker lap can sometimes act as a great kind of escape route. And you see Durant now taking the joker lap, so he's carried great speed onto there, gets the car slow now, gets it turned, and then drives off now. So it's going to be interesting to see where he slots in with Bakkerud.
So Bakkerud then to Doran. Bakkerud's in front of Doran. Is Doran going to be able to stop, or is he going to give him a nudge? He manages to slow it down in time. So Bakkerud's got to get a good time here, Andrew. He's in 14th place. He's got to bump
I think this will be a quick time, but you can see that Bakkerud gained the time by going to the joker lap initially, got out of all the trouble where they're all backing into each other and slowing each other up, and that's probably the difference from him to Durant.
And Nitish did the same. You know, Volkswagen MSC got together and said, look, the best tactic here is joker lap, lap 1.
Ordinarily, it's quicker to go for the joker lap on the first lap, because the first lap's obviously always the slowest lap with a bit of bunching up. So if you can, it's always best to get the joker lap done before you're onto your first your proper flying laps.
Timo Timosyanov leading from his teammate Timmy Hansen. These guys were testing this week at Holliers. Hansen says he's the most comfortable he's ever been in a rallycross car. Timosyanov then went to the same settings as Hansen. Hansen was about 7/10 quicker there, but they're both looking fast here, although Hansen, to me, maybe he's got the edge.
Yeah, they're very evenly matched, aren't they? I think the cars are pretty much set up identical, apart from the odd little thing for a driving style. It's going to be interesting where Bakkerud slots in between Timosyanov and Hansen when they both take the joker. Look how aggressive the car is there over those big bumps. Hansen's really hassling Timosyanov.
He is. Synchronised jumping from those two off to the joker lap. I think Hansen could have been going quicker here. A little bit of handbrake from both. Hansen's maybe got the better exit there, but it's all about where they come in. Bakkerud's alongside them. Bakkerud in between the two Peugeot Hansen's. Liam Doran at the back. Hansen manages to hold on to second place. Bakkerud's run wide. Any damage on any of these cars as Liam got up into third place. We're on board with Anthony Haas.
Bakkerud lost a lot of time there, actually. A little bit of argy-bargy into it, put him out into all that dirt. We've seen how much the gravel gets swept onto the circuit, and it costs a huge amount. You can see Bakkerud just couldn't get the car turned.
That was amazing. 4 of the very best World Rallycross drivers merging together, and they all got away with it.
It was hard racing, but fair racing, which is great to see.
over the line. Timosyanov and Hansen, bumper to bumper. Doran, Bakkerud. And at the back, Markham with that problem on the first lap. But all of those guys, a fantastic race. We should see them through to the semi-finals. Cannot wait. Here is the result of the final heat race. Timosyanov from Timmy Hansen, just 3/10 in it. Liam Doran, Andreas Bakkerud and Anton Markland. Molly is with the heat race winner.
Timo, another great result for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know which time is mine, but yeah. I think it's good we are in the semi-final in a good position. We will see you there.
Thank you.
Timosyanov very pleased. Look at that, claps his hands, double thumbs up. He hasn't had a great season so far, and he's glad to be back where he is. Let's not forget he's the reigning and double European champion.
It was actually Bakkerud just came across a little bit on Markham, which put him into Hansen, and just couldn't quite hold it. You know, it's one of those things, nothing really could do. You can see here, and he rides up on the car, then the car starts oversteering, and he's a passenger from there. So great shame for Markham. He's been going really, really well.
Do you think Bakkerud squeezed him on purpose, or just didn't realise it wasn't enough room?
Yeah, there's so much happening off the start in these cars. It's so easy to kind of look at it. You can see Hansen at the inside, and then Duran's tucked in. Loads of understeer for Bakkerud. He's out in all the dirt, and that opened the door for Duran to get through.
Someone's going to have a cracking photo of that on the way in, aren't they? 4 into 1, and it did manage to go. Brilliant, brilliant final heat race, as we expect. Here is the standings then. Knockout qualifiers, intermediate classification. Liam Doran is the top qualifier. What a turnaround for him. Nitish, Timosyanov, Heikkinen, Petter Solberg, Hansen, Markland, Ken Block goes through to the semis at his first time at World Rallycross. Holton, Oman, Henning Solberg and Andreas Bakkerud, by the skin of his teeth, is through to the semi-finals. Here's how they split. Odds go one way, evens the other. So Doran, Timosyanov, Petter Solberg, Markland, Holton and Henning Solberg in the first semi-final. Nitish, Heikkinen, Hansen, Block, Oman and Bakkerud in semi-final 2.
Another great result in Heat 4. Are you pleased?
Yeah, it was good, but you know, so much dust after behind 3 cars, and but yeah, I'm happy. Petter was in front of me, but we together was still fast in front, and now I'm second after 4 heats and first row for the pre-final. It's good for me and for the championship.
Obviously, you've had a look at the drivers you're meeting in the semi-finals. How do you plan now for that?
I just, you know, flat out and lap by lap, and we'll see. It will be hard because all 6 drivers are strong, and but I hope I'm the strongest one, and I try to win, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ken, you were going crazy sideways in Heat 4, but you are through to the semi-finals here in Norway.
Yeah, you know, the sort of consistency thing sort of works, although I just have the most horrible starts. I'm just having a hard time adapting from the start system that we have in the States to this. It's just so much quicker, and I need to do things ahead of time, and I'm not. So it's killing me. I'm so mad still. I've been sitting here for 10 minutes mad. So, but I want to do well here. I'm glad to be 8th and be in the semis, but I feel like I should just be in a better position. I'm just really frustrated. I'm driving well. I tried my hardest. I was trying everything, running over curbs, being extra sideways. None of it was working. So it was fun. I hope the crowd enjoyed it, but it's not where I want to be. I want to have a good launch and be up there and fighting with Petter, not back in the back. So, but the good thing is I'm in the semis now. If I can hopefully have a good start and hopefully have some good racing, I'll get in the final.
Been quite a lot of incidents on this track. Why is that, do you think?
Actually, I don't know. We're 38 cars. Everybody wants to win, I guess. It's really tough if you're going to make it to the semifinals, and you can't be last in the first corner. Then you will score a quite bad time. So I think everybody's going all into the first corner, and then you can have some incidents. But I mean, it's rallycross, and that's what it's like. It's some incidents, and everybody's going flat out and wants to have as good pace and as possible.
So you know who you're up against now in the first semi-finals. How do you plan for that?
I actually don't plan anything. I know everybody of them is really quick. So am I.
I will try to do as good start as possible, and if nobody's diving into the yoke lap, I will do it. Otherwise, I think I will go in the normal track and push as hard as I can, and maybe follow the one that's in the first row and try to make a move on them on one of the laps.
De fick gå riktigt tufft där och det var, vi kan ju säga det också, för att Andreas Backerud vann ju det där. Ja, det var perfekt idag. Han körde.
While the tension is building here in Norway, it's very nearly time for the semi-finals. We've had a little bit of rain. We're not quite sure what tyres the drivers are going to go on, but it's going to be fantastic, so stick with us. Down in the FIA World Rallycross Championship, and so far it's been an all-Norwegian affair. Petter Solberg was the stunning winner at round 1 in Portugal, and after the street fight, which was the Lydden Hill final, Andreas Backerud muscled his way onto the top step.
First race win in the World Championship. I mean, growing up in the paddock is and always be amongst the rallycross cars have been a big thing for me, and suddenly I'm up there winning. So I'm super stoked. I'm really exciting for this race here in Norway, in Hell, in my home track, and lots of supporters. So yeah, it's great. Of course, more pressure for us. Both me and Petter is 1 and 2nd in the championship, but I mean, we just do what we normally do and have a good fun.
Tanner Faust made his return at Lydden Hill, but failed to make it 3 wins in 3 years at the UK track. A tussle in the final with Solberg saw Faust lose time and Petter stuck in the gravel. The British touring car champion Andrew Jordan pulled off a brilliant move on Topi Heikkinen, which was swiftly copied by Backerud, with a little more RX spirit thrown in for good measure. This decisive move enabled him to take the lead after Robin Larsen jokered. After that, it was just a question of a few too many donuts and some press-ups to burn them off. Backerud tops the drivers' table with Solberg in 2nd, whilst the top team are Ford Olsberg's MSE. As the carnival drums start to beat in Brazil, the rest of the world drivers in Norway will need calm nerves and the skills of Pele if they're to put one past the local boys on their own pitch. The Norwegian RX high flyers will have just one thing to say.
Welcome to hell.
Not that bothers last year's winner, Liam Doran. Round 3 sees RX move to Norway and the village of Hell, 30 kilometres northeast of the city of Trondheim. Norway sees the start of the Scandinavian leg of the season, with visits to Finland and Sweden to follow, and is also playing host to round 2 of the European Rallycross Championship. The venue has hosted the European since 2011. After a fantastic 2nd place in the UK, it's Robin Larsen who leads the European Championship.
I really didn't get it when I was in the lead, and I get all the good guys behind me, and we were 2nd just after Backerud, so I'm very pleased with that, and really good start.
With Larsen at the top of the standings is Grosse Janin in 2nd, Faust, Jordan and Solberg making up the top 5. Before the action gets underway here in Norway, let's have a look at our track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the start, it's downhill and then back up towards turn 1. Onto the gravel, down towards turn 2, the merge of the Joker lap, a right-hander and then a tight hairpin at the bottom. Then it's power all the way up the hill, a tricky left over a crest before the final hairpin, get the power down and a jump over the start-finish. Norway sees another turn 1 Joker lap, and with the merge just before turn 2, drama is guaranteed.
So turn 2 here behind me, probably the most important corner of the track. It's the turn where we come out of the Joker lap next to each other, so you're guaranteed for a lot of drama. It's really important for the lap time and for the speed of the track, because it's a blind corner going down the hill, and it's crucial to get the line right and get the exit speed right.
Here's the surface split. It's 37% dirt and 63% tar.
We are in the last corner in the race in the Hell. This is the most tricky corner here, because if you are first on that one, you can finish first. And if you can slide there, you can push somebody, yeah, it's okay. You just need to do this corner perfect, because the finish line is very near that.
Heat 1 was all about Villeneuve and Solberg. It was the battle between the WRC and F1 everybody wanted to see. Villeneuve who came out on top. Backerud had a problem in Heat 2, broke his suspension. It was Nitish who came out on top. He was fastest of everybody. Backerud and Larson came together in Heat 2, nearly broke the car again. That fight continued until the end of the race. Larson coming home just in front of Backerud. New drivers here this weekend. Ken Block, first time in the World Rallycross Championship. The two drivers from EKSRX, Tiedemann and Ekstrom. Ekstrom had a spin after he broke the car. Doran was fastest in Heat 2, with Nitish a very, very close second. This was how they stood after those two heats. Nitish, Doran, Heikkinen, Timosyanov, Hansen, Markland, Solberg and Oman. Hedstrom, Grosjean, Tiedemann and Villeneuve were inside the top 12. Ken Block was just outside. Andreas Backerud was nowhere to be seen. On to this morning then, and Sunday. Heat 3, Liam started off where he left yesterday. Fastest again, great job by him. Villeneuve unfortunately got a puncture and won't be making it through to the semi-finals. Petter finally found the pace that he's shown for the rest of this season. Heat 1, Heat 4. Great job. And it was a bit of a Norwegian affair. Backerud fought his way back after his problems yesterday with that broken suspension. He made it through just by the skin of his teeth to the back of the semi-finals. There's your top 12. And here is how they split into the two semi-finals. Doran is on pole for one and Nitish is on pole for the other. Some of the very fastest of the World Rallycross drivers are going to battle it out for those 6 places in the final. Molly was down on the pre-grid earlier on and she caught up with some of the drivers.
Petter, we're only minutes away now from a semi-final. How are you feeling?
I'm okay actually, you know, and the weather, you know, it's a little bit different compared with what we had earlier today, but it was like expected that it should come some rain, so hopefully we are prepared with the setup, and it depends how good the other cars is also on the wet.
Obviously the tarmac gets slippier, but I guess the dust is not a problem when it's wet.
The dust is okay, no problem at all, but obviously it will be very, very, very tricky, so we have to be, well, first of all, the first thing is to come through the first corner, you know, who is taking the alternative or who is taking the normal lap, you know, that's the question here.
So Liam, are you calm before the semi-final?
Yeah, of course you have to be. The worst thing you could do right now is panic and get tense and stressed out because you just make mistakes and be stupid, and the only thing we can try and do now is what it is. The track's wet and slippery, but I'm on the same track everybody else is, so I'm just going to keep it calm and do what I need to do.
You're actually quite fast on a wet track, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to complain, to be honest. I'm not worried. I've got full set of new tyres, so I've done really well in qualifying to save a whole set of tyres, so that'll be an advantage for sure. And yeah, I normally like the wet, so let's see what happens.
Semi-final time here in Norway. Liam looking very relaxed, but as you'll have seen from those pictures, we have had rain. We've got a bit of drizzle coming in, and the valley is looking a lot cloudier than it was just 5 minutes ago. My name is Andrew Coley, and I'm delighted to be joined this weekend by Andrew Jordan, of course the current British Touring Car Champion and the man who finished third on the podium at the World Rallycross Championship the last round at Linden Hill. Here is how they start in semi-final number 1. Liam Doran is on pole with the double European and reigning champion Timosyanov alongside him. Second row, Petter Solberg and Anton Markland. And starting from row 3, Daniel Holton and Henning Solberg. Andrew Jordan, this was the position you were in just 3 weeks ago, and how was it for you? Liam looks pretty relaxed, but that's not always the case, is it?
No, it's quite a tense part of the weekend. You know, it's been race time all up until this point, and now you've got to get into the top 3 for the final. You know, the weather's made the track look quite slick, and the start's obviously so crucial in Rallycross, but a lot of it comes down to the team and how they've set their launch control system for the wet track. So they'll have done a practice start, try and heat and clean the tyres, and they'll have a good feeling of what the revs are like for the wet start, but it then comes down to them whether they go up a bit or down a bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see the start, because it's the first damp start they've done all weekend.
Dries or wets?
That looked like wets on Holton.
That's a big surprise.
Very surprised at that. The wets, you know, it really needs to be very, very wet to go on those, because the dry tyres are very soft anyway and they have a few cuts in also, so it normally needs to be really, really flooded to make it pay. There's Solberg's car, I think, and that looks like dry tyres to me. So mixture of tyre choices between the cars, which will be interesting to see how it pans out. You know, the gravel sections are very, very clean with tarmac anyway, so we'll have to wait and see.
Per Eklund leaning out over the side of the Ion Spotters Tower. He's got Henning Solberg on the back of the grid. Here we go, semi-final number 1 for round 3 of the World Rallycross Championship. Liam Doran on the inside, Timosyanov alongside him. Great start by Solberg on the second row. Timosyanov moves across and shuts the door. Where's Solberg going to go? Solberg goes to the Joker lap. Timosyanov on the inside. Liam Doran's
looking at the inside of Timosyanov now on the normal lap. Duran had a bit of a bog start, but he's looking to fight back from Timosyanov. Holton's in the back of him as well.
3 cars into the back of each other. Holton up the back of Doran and Doran up the back there of Timosyanov. Petr Solberg's Joker. These 3 guys are
Duran was trying around the outside there, so this is playing into Solberg's. And look, they're all barging into each other. It's not like they want, because Solberg's taken the Joker lap and he's in clear air now. These guys are battling too much.
And if these guys end up in a train of 3 like this, you know, Solberg could do the whole lot of them, come out the top, stick himself in the front row of the final.
Yeah, that being said though, before obviously it was race time, it's all about position now, so they can afford to fight it out a little bit to get that top 3 position to get through to the final.
Solberg, I think, is easily within 4 seconds of these guys. He is. Andrew, we think roughly 4 seconds for the Joker lap here this weekend.
Yeah, on board here is Solberg. He'll be trying to keep very relaxed. You can see the guys in front are fighting. Look, Timosyanov's really backing Duran up. I know he's got a bit of a problem or something. We did hear on the interview that Duran's got fresh tyres, and that makes a huge difference to these cars for the first initial lap.
What's the secret to Doran here as well? I mean, obviously the car's better, but he won here last year and he just suddenly seems to have come on song. He's been flying all weekend.
He has been. Obviously, he's had a real tough start to the season, and he said in the press conference he'd been doubting himself in the past events with issues with the car and stuff, but he's on fire this weekend. He's been the quickest guy all weekend, so hopefully he can get through to the final and get a good result for him and the team.
It'd be great to see when it was really honest of Liam. Petr Solberg now joins the back of this train. He's definitely going to get Holton. Solberg and Markham have been dropped off a little bit from the back. That's Liam Doran's spotter up here in the Iron Spotters Tower. He'll be telling him when to Joker. I'm kind of surprised he didn't say to go for it, but then, you know, there's a crowd of cars here. Maybe they want a bit longer to see if they can make a gap. These 6 are still quite close together.
Absolutely. Solberg's quickest man on the track, but, you know, they're a couple of seconds off where they were earlier on, so the track obviously is a fair bit damper, and, you know, the gravel sections are going to be nowhere near as much grip, so you can see they're 2 seconds slower, which is actually quite a lot.
At the back then, looks like Holton maybe, either Holton's had a problem, Holton maybe has had a problem. I didn't see him take, he's not showing he's taken his Joker lap and he's dropped back, Andrew. He's dropped back to 6th place.
Duran, the reason probably Duran's guys didn't say to take the Joker on the last lap is it's very close between him and Henning Solberg. So as you said, they'll be hoping that Duran and Timosyanov can try and get some clear space. Duran was in the back of Timosyanov then into the left-hander, I saw out in the commentary box. But they'll be hoping he can get enough clear space between him and Henning.
Look at the look on Petr Solberg's face here. Lots of small little inputs. Solberg again almost up the inside of Timosyanov. That's a little bit of bodywork flapping on the front of Doran's car as well, so probably from the contact earlier on. But Timosyanov staying calm, he's at the front, he's got to go through in the top 3, remember. Only Timosyanov and Doran to go. Andrew Jordan is stood next to me working out what the gap is between them on the timing screens.
I think Duran's going to plan Duran's dropped back a lot from Timosyanov there, so I think their plan trying to get a bit of clear space initially had worked. He had gained enough time on Henning Solberg, but obviously he dropped back a huge amount at the last corner.
So Doran then maybe with a little mistake, and he's dropped back, right back. Doran has dropped right back in behind Solberg.
Puncher. That'll be from the contact. You can see there's a lot of body, so that's going to be from the contact, which is a great shame. And, you know, that'll beg the question, should he have joked a little bit early to try and get away from Timosyanov so they didn't risk having the contact?
Bit of a shame then. So Liam Doran at some point has picked up a puncture. We know he's going to go backwards. Daniel Holton doesn't seem to be. Daniel Holton from the competition going very slowly. So we've got Timosyanov leading. Petr Solberg's definitely in. Timosyanov, what's the gap back, Andrew?
It's about 5 seconds got over Henning Solberg, which is going to be the next threat. So
Timosyanov into the Joker. Timosyanov is in the Joker. Petr Solberg is on the inside. There is Susan Hansen, who will be looking for Timosyanov. Timosyanov slots out behind Petr Solberg. The crowd are going to go mad for this one because I think both the Solberg brothers are going to go through to the final here. Petr Solberg leads with just about half a lap to go.
I'm surprised how close Timosyanov's come out behind Solberg. You saw how much he was holding up Duran, so it just makes the question, what could Duran have done if he hadn't got held up or hadn't got the puncher?
Great shame for Liam Doran, but a good weekend for him anyway. Top qualifier, takes a decent championship point from that. But it's all about the result of semi-final number 1. The checker flag is out. The 2003 World Rally Champion is going to set the crowd on fire here. He goes through to the front row of the final. Timosyanov goes with him, and Petr's brother Henning joins him as well. The belts are off, the smile is on, the door is open, and it's time for Petr to celebrate. Don't fall out, one more race to go. Good job by him, really.
Great job, you know, a lot of it came down to the start, and Duran's start looked like it bogged, and that's put him on the back for the whole race. I think he's probably been the quickest all weekend, so real bad luck for him, real bad luck.
Well, I'm sorry not to see Liam go through. Here's the replays. Off the start, you think yeah, you're right, not a great start. It was a great start by Timosyanov, who could close the door.
Solberg straight to the Joe clap in. You can see just as it goes out of shot, they were all battling. Timosyanov was battling hard with Duran. Here you can see Duran is up the inside. know if there's contact this time, but there's definitely contact between the three cars here, and I think that probably resulted in the puncture for Duran towards the end. You can see the front bodywork's a bit damaged, and I think, is he in the back of him here? He's trying to get the undercut underneath him. No contact there, but I think it's later this lap than you can see the right front starting to go down.
So disaster then for Doran, but a great result for Solberg. He goes through and onto the front row of the final. He's just coming on form at just the right time.
Petter is in his third final of this championship. How do you feel the race went?
Extreme good. He did a good strategy and go very well, and yeah, very fast. I think everything is working very good now. I'm very yeah, I don't know really what to say in this final, but yeah, I hope everything goes okay for us now.
Best of luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you can see there in the background the timing screens that the teams are looking at up here with us in the Arne Spotters Tower. That is the result. Petter Solberg, Timo Timosjanov and Henning Solberg with top championship points on the right hand side go through to the final. Markland, Doran and Holton, I'm afraid, are out. Semi-final number 2 is coming up next for you then. Another 6 supercars to fight it out to make their way through. One of the favourites has got to be the man you can see in the background there, Reinis Nitish. He's been in 2 semi-finals and has won both of them, Andrew. You know, it's impressive. We've come to expect it from him with the Super 1600 results.
But it's easy to forget he's 18 years old. This is his first year, and I remember speaking to him at the start of the year, and his aim was to... Sorry, here's the grid, I'll throw it over to you.
Reinis Nitish on the front row with Topi Heikkinen in second. Timmy Hansen and Ken Block lining up on row 2. Great to see Ken Block make the semis. Emil Oman and Andreas Backerud on the back row.
Yeah, Reinis was actually, his aim was to get through to the semi-finals initially, you know, qualifying the top 12 after the 4 heats. So the fact he's been in both and he's won both of them is really impressive. He gets on with his work, he's very determined to be successful and works very hard at it.
Saw a quick onboard there, which is unmistakable, the interior of that car. A car so cool that Lewis Hamilton was pictured sitting in it, the hooligan himself. And here is Andreas Backerud.
So that's him doing his warm-up start. You can see he's got the button on the handbrake, which is the launch control button. That sets the revs at a lower RPM limit than normal. Loading it up against the clutch just till you feel the rear of the car squat down, and then just bang the clutch and let go of the handbrake as quick as possible.
On board with Andreas Backerud then. The World Championship leader, don't forget, with Petter Solberg in second in that championship. Both those guys at the top at their home event here in Norway. We've already got 2 Norwegians through to the final. Oh, we're going to see another one go through in this race. Backerud, the only Norwegian in semi-final number 2. He's got a lot of work to do if he's going to come from the back row. It's getting dark here in hell. The rain is definitely coming down. Front row of the grid is going to be about Nitish and Topi. Great start by Hansen. Hansen squeezes through the gap. Brilliant job by him. Ken Block goes straight to the inside.
Great start by Hansen.
Wonderful
there.
job.
The door just opened up for him and straight to the joker. Backward at the inside of Heikkinen there. Backward had a great start. Ken Block was a little bit slow on their action, so that really opened up nicely for Hansen. And let's not forget how quick he's been all weekend.
So Hansen there with an absolutely brilliant start from row 2, went straight through the gap. Andrew, what have you spotted?
Backerud was just running really wide through the left-hander. I don't know if he got going again or if there was a problem, but he definitely ran wide.
Ken Block, he's currently in second place, and this one is being led by Nitish, who didn't have the greatest start.
Heikkinen and Backerud are side by side. Backerud looks like he's moving around. It's contact in the background. Heikkinen and Backerud.
Heikkinen with a spin, Backerud as well. Not quite sure what happened there. Great spot by Andrew Jordan, right in the back of your picture, but Heikkinen has been sent round in a circle. Nitish leads into lap 2. Down at turn 1, Ken Block is behind him. Ken Block would love to make it through to the final here. He was disappointed with his qualifying, but actually we think Ken Block had done a pretty good job, don't we?
He's doing a very good job, you know. It's very new to him compared to what he's used to. Just looking at the time sheet, I think Hansen's probably got enough at the minute on that first lap to come out in front of Nitish. It's going to be really close. It looks like the rain's coming down even more, so these guys are going to have to adapt their driving style even more every lap as the track changes.
Emil Oman is out. Emil Oman is going to go no further. Topi Heikkinen, we know, is out of spin. So Backerud is probably going to be sitting in 4th, I think, at the end of this lap. You're on board with Ken Block right now. That's the view they get as they come up towards the jump. You can see it's completely blind for them over the jump, down the straight, and a very, very bumpy braking zone. You can see it, in fact, from the Arne Spotters Tower. That's where me and Andrew Jordan are getting a great view of this circuit. But our view of the valley in the background is disappearing behind an incredible amount of mist and rain that's coming up. We could see a very, very wet supercar final.
This race is between Nitish and Hansen, you know, they're trading tenths, whether it's 4 seconds or just under or just over, so it's going to be a real close finish. Nitish's spotter will be onto him now, just keep keep it nice and neat, keep it nice and clean and tidy. Don't make any mistakes, but still be as quick as you can.
And this is about as well as it being on the front row in the final, and that's what they want, isn't it?
You know, that gives you the best opportunity on board here with Backer down again. A little bit of handbrake to get the car turned and straighten up the car as much as you can for the exit.
Backrud having a fantastic season so far. He's going to need a bit of a result here, I think, to get on top of these guys. Andrew Jordan again is looking at the time screen next to us.
Back on 4 seconds. We saw yesterday they came out dead on side by side, so it's going to come down to how good Nittich can make his Joker lap.
Nittich then is going to need to be very, very tidy when he decides to take the Joker. I wonder if he's going to leave it right until the last lap and just hope that he can make enough of a gap.
Yeah, I think so. That's what you'd normally try to do if you're out in the front. And I saw yesterday in practice they were doing a lot of laps on the Joker lap. They were practicing their entry a lot to see how much speed they could carry into that. And obviously it's moments like this that comes in use.
This is tricky though too, Andrew, because the conditions are changing here. This is the wettest we've seen it, I think, all weekend. Yeah, we're calling it wet. It's not really, it's damp, but the grip levels are changing every lap.
Lap times are going up by about a second at the minute, so they're a lot slower. You can see how slick the tarmac looks.
Nittich leading from block at the minute. Both of those guys still to Joker. They're the only two left. Ignore Emil Oman at the top of your screen. He's retired from this one. So Nittich and Block have still got to Joker, and they're going to have to do it on this final lap.
It's 4.1 now, the gap is, so it's going to be so close. It's going to come down to this last lap and how good Nittich can do the Joker lap. They'll be informing Hansen on this, so he'll know what the gap is. He'll be keeping it neat and tidy, but pushing on as much as he can to the grip he's got.
And Backer too far back, you think, to be able to make it?
I think so, yeah. He's 7 seconds back from Nittich, so I think he's going to struggle to make it.
So Backer then stands possibly to lose the lead of the World Rallycross Championship here. Nittich and Block up over the top. Both of them go to their Joker lap. Here we go. This is the crucial moment. Nittich is wide. Block is really wide. Both those guys have lost time. Look down for the merge. Hansen slots out behind Nittich alongside Nittich. He's got the better entry line into left-hander and down the hill. But it's Nittich. Oh, there's contact as well between Backer and Block. Contact between Backer and Block. Block gets away with it. Looks like that's going to be your top three. Nittich, Hansen and Block, but there's half a lap to go.
It looks so slippy. Look, Nittich's just got it understeer a little bit and onto the gravel. If he just keeps it neat now, he should win his 3rd straight semi-final, which is going to be very impressive. Very, very impressive.
It is, isn't it? I mean, 3 out of 3 in the semis is
just
great.
Look how slick that tarmac looks. You can see how much they're sliding around, yeah.
Complete change. Not being caught out, though. 3 very, very professional drivers going to make it through. Side by side. Who's going to get the jump towards the line? Oh, I think that's Hansen from Nittich. Surely, they're so close.
Nittich by 1,000.
Goodness me, couldn't be any closer between them. That is incredibly tight. They came over the jump side by side. That would come down to where the transponder was mounted in the car.
Yeah, sorry, it was actually
100th between them. Unbelievable semi-final here. You can see, as you look down the valley now, the way the conditions have changed. My goodness me. Here is the result. Rainis Nittich, and you can see it was by 100th of a second. Timmy Hansen, Ken Block on his debut in World Rallycross goes through. The World Rallycross Championship leader goes out along with Topi Heikkinen and Emil Oman. Wow. This is how they're going to line up for the final. No, we're going to go and have a chat with Molly instead, who is with the Hansen team.
Suzanne Hansen, that was an incredible semi-final on very difficult conditions.
Yes, incredible. Oh, I had goosebumps all over. So exciting. And we saw the first semi-finals with Teamer. He put on a great show in front, even it was slippery. Got a lot of knocking on his door from Liam. And in the second semi-final, Timmy did a smart maneuver, taking a Joker on the first lap and then pushing, and was, I think, less than 1/10 of a second behind. So he's second in the semi-finals, but still really good performance. I'm so happy for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Here's a look at the replays from that one. Watch Timmy Hansen from row 2. Andrew Jordan, that is one of the starts of the weekend.
You know, the Hansen guys got their start nailed for that condition, didn't they? Because you saw Tim Ersnoff had an absolutely great start. So on board with Block, I think we are here. You'll see Hansen fires it straight through to the Joker. Block's in the back and this just gives him a little hurry up. But that's not really going to phase him or push him too far front. Here's Backerud, look. Heikkinen gets a run at him and Backerud comes back, gives him a little tag and turns him round. That was a bit of a hard move, but you know, the cars are moving around a lot up there. As I said, the car Backerud was moving around a lot. I don't know if he had a problem, but this is where Nittich rejoined and how close he was getting towards the last lap.
It's light over that crest as well, is it? This was the contact between Backerud and Block. Backerud almost stopped there. It's almost as if I can't do that. I mean, was that him being polite, or
the reason it was so close? Nittich dropped a wheel in the grass and the gravel on the exits. That'll have hurt his traction, but Yeah, that move, it's so slippy trying to judge your braking in your turn.
Wow, semi-final number 1 certainly didn't disappoint.
Jättetrevligt här på dem kan det vara. Ja, vilken underhållning. Vilken underhållning. Men du, det här tror jag blir lite svårslaget att 2 bröder här i final i Supercar.
Absolutely brilliant action from those 2 semi-finals. Looking forward to the final. Shower here last year in hell, but it's cold here too. Yesterday everyone was in t-shirts and shorts and genuinely we're in jackets and wishing we got more stuff with us, and it just makes a difference to the grip, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been threatening to rain all day, and it's come a good time for us to watch. Probably not an ideal time for the teams and drivers, but you know, the guys that are going through to the final, they'll be working 1 very quickly, but 2 also very carefully to see what they need to do with their car setup. And the guys in that last heat are probably going to have more of a realistic view, because obviously you've got Wetter in their semi-final. So you know, Hansen will probably be on board.
Last semi-final, so give us your thoughts, Hendrik.
This is Ken Black who saw this. This is where he just gives Nitish a little tap.
Nitish was early on the brakes, wasn't he?
But he knows it's wet, so he's got the inside. He can brake it all up a little bit, get the traction and drive it off. It's his race. He can do what he wants to with the corner. So
you get a great idea as well of how dark it's getting up here.
Yeah, but I actually think, you know, as I was saying, the Hansen car and that data can transfer over to Tim Izanov who was in the first semi-final. So they've got 2 cars that they can probably put the same sort of setup on, which they know was working in the wet in the last semi-final.
Up and over the crest. Now this was where Backerud and Toppy had a little bit of contact. You could see there how sideways Ken went. The car goes light, doesn't it, over that crest?
Yeah, and these tyres are very low grip anyway. They're cross-ply tyres, so there's you know, a massive slip angle. The car slide around a lot anyway, and in these conditions even more so. So it's really down to the driver to be as smooth as possible. You're trying to put that 550 horsepower down, which is obviously very tricky at the best of times.
Well, the other thing we're hearing here is if you listen to Ken, how much he's having to feather the throttle compared to normal.
Feather the throttle, a bit of short shifting to use the engine's torque rather than a lot of wheel spin. It might sound quicker, but you won't be getting the traction down as much. So you'll just be fine all the way, a little bit of curve, keeping it on the tarmac, get it straight, feather the throttle, nice bit of short shifting to get the drive up onto the gravel.
I was amazed by how much the conditions seemed to change there as the race went on. You know, the lap times you said had changed by about a second, and then you could see mistakes from all the drivers. Yeah, Nitish, Block, they both ran wide on their Joker lap.
You know, the lap times went to like 3 seconds slower in that race, so they changed massively there over the jump. You hear the car go light, but you know, it's tricky when it's those sort of conditions. They're on the drier tyres. The cars were probably set pretty much to dry. They might have taken a little bit of gamble if they saw the rain coming in, but now as I say, they'll be working frantically
running hard
to get
now
the
as well.
full wet setup on.
Raining very, very hard. The umbrellas are out. They'll be frantically changing the cars. Don't forget, they haven't got long before we see the supercars back out for the final here in hell. Wow, well, the supercars haven't disappointed so far, and we've got the Super 1600 final will be coming up for you shortly. Front-wheel drive cars in the wet are going to be quite tricky. Here's a little look, though, at what happened before you joined us this afternoon. This was the touring cars. So, Andrew Jordan, different conditions to what we've got now, slightly drier. I mean, we thought this was damp at the time, but this was the start. Daniel Lund in the blue and grey Volvo moving across. He looked like he wanted to go into the standard lap and had to take the Joker.
Sometimes, you know, you're just forced out there, and Lund again with Salston here. I was a little just rubbing out wide, so we can't quite get on the traction. But, you know, the Red Master was very, very impressive.
Tom Daniel Tanovic, yeah, really quick all weekend, certainly. This contact as well here between, it was Lund and Tangen, and in fact Tangen, that finished his race, and that left Tom Daniel Tanovic way out in front. He took the win in the Mazda RX-8. So rear-wheel drive 2-litre cars still here, thrilling the crowd this weekend. In fact, there's some Super Nationals from Norway here as well. Here's a look at the Super 1600 semi-finals. So Linneman on the front row.
You can see how much they were struggling for grip. The track looks damp there, nowhere near as wet as it is now. Linneman goes to the outside, and these sort of cars, you know, normally aspirated front-wheel drive cars, a hell of a lot of wheel spin, so it's really important for the guys to be, look at him, Linneman's in the back of him there, he's on the handbrakes when they get the car stopped. You're talking about Ken Block being throttle patient, but these guys even more so.
Really have to wait. We're going to see that in the final shortly, so don't go anywhere, because the Super 1600s are spectacular to say the least. This was the second final. The orange Skoda in the middle there is Miss Julia, who's done a great job so far this season, was third, but doesn't actually go through from this semi-final. contact aplenty again. 3 and 3 was the split. This is the third track in a row we've gone to, Andrew, with the first corner joker lap.
Yeah, you know, the option is very hard racing. Very hard but fair. We've seen a lot of that this weekend. You know, normally on the joker lap, if it's off the start, it's best to try and go first lap if you're in the right position, because the first lap with all the battling is always going to be the slowest.
So this one played out. Smetana doing a good job. It was Smetana who came through, so you'll see him on the front row of the grid. Shigabutinov is Aktier as well. So Super 1600 final is coming up now. You're going to see those guys who were in the semi-final fighting it out for their championship positions. Zagimenov has made it through. Zagimenov won the last 2 rounds of Super 1600, both Portugal and the UK. So we're going to see Zagimenov in this one. Linneman has gone through too. Linneman second in the UK, and he said no more Danish championship, Andrew.
Yeah, I think he's been very quick the last couple of years, so he's going to concentrate on what he wants, but he's actually brightening up a little bit now. But I think, you know, the track is pretty wet. They're only having these cars for their final, so I don't think it's going to dry up enough for the supercars. So these guys have all made the tyre choices. I would think they've gone with wet tyres. We saw how much the lap time dropped off, so I think they're all on dry setup and dry tyres also. Sorry, I mean wet.
Wet. I know what you mean. We know what you mean, Andrew Jordan. It's fine. Here is how the grid lines up. So Yanis Balmanis, who celebrates his birthday today, is on pole. Is he going to get a birthday win? Andrei Smetana is in second. Sergei Zagimenov, the man who's won both the previous rounds, lines up third with Timo Shigabutinov alongside him. Ulrich Linneman on the back row with Espen Isaksakteh. Last of the Super 1600s coming out. That's Linneman. You can see pulling up at the back. He's been fired off in 2 local rounds in the Danish Championship. He's actually said he's not afraid if he has to lose a few sponsors to miss the Danish Championship. He wants to focus entirely on, of course, what is the European Rallycross Championship for the Super 1600 cars.
I think that's a sensible move. You know, if the European is main focus, then why not, you know, sacrifice doing a few of the Danish rounds, but put all your efforts into the European Championship.
Set promotion, Twingo on the front row.
I would think these guys will have their start revs very, very low, because they're going to struggle for traction, and they do it the best time in the dry, so with it wet it's going to be real low revs. The clutch, they might try and slip it a little bit just to try and get as much traction as they can.
Short change the box away from the line.
You know, these engines have to rev them up to 9,000, so yeah, maybe a little bit, but not as much as the supercars.
So Balmanis and Smetana on the front row. Let's see what they can do. Lights change, you see the noses lift, but they don't move very much. And from the second row, Zagimenov looks like he's gone through the gap in the middle. But on the outside is the Saxo that's going to come through. It's his Accetra all weekend. He's the leading Norwegian Super 1600 driver, leading that championship in Norway.
Zagimenov's got turned
around. Oh, there's a shunt up in the joker lap. Those 3 guys are miles back.
That's dropped them right back. The Saxo actually came from the back row of the grid, so a great start with him. Enabled him to do his own race, go to the joker lap when he wanted. That was great. But it's dropped those guys back, all kicked off, and that's the risk on the first lap of taking the joker lap. It can sometimes backfire a little bit.
So it's Balmanis leading from Linneman, and a gap back to his Accetra from Norway. Norwegians will be very pleased if he gets a decent result. Very, very hard cars to drive in these conditions, Andrew. You know, without the benefit of four-wheel drive. I mean, to be fair, the touring cars are tricky too, but front-wheel drive, as you said, look how long they're having to wait before they get back on the gas.
Yeah, you know, they really need to try and get the car and the wheel as straight as possible for traction. Balmanis is in a set promotion car, which is run and owned by Jussi Pinnimäki, who's won this division before. They know what they're doing, they know what to do in this sort of conditions, and they'll really see
Linneman's jokered really early there, so Linneman's jokered early. He's going to drop back in behind his Accetra, who's already gone, so Linneman drops a place, but quite sensible. I wonder if they've said to him, look, the pack is a long way back, go now.
Because otherwise, if you lose too much time, you're saying you're going to drop back into them, so that's probably a smart move then.
Especially considering that his Accetra, although he's very good up here in Norway, he's not doing the whole championship, so in some ways it doesn't really matter if Linneman drops a couple of points to him.
You know, it's important to look at the big picture of things like that. It's important to get good points when he can, but he's doing a great job in that little Saxo, isn't he? To start from the back row of the grid, he's currently second. It's really, really impressive.
That's one of the nice things about Rallycross. We've still got family teams in the paddock here. Balmanis, the 99 car.
Linneman's got a run on the inside. He had so much understeer in the Saxo. He's got a great runner past him. So the move of taking the joker lap's really worked out for them, hasn't it?
So Linneman then sitting in second, having taken his joker lap. Balmanis is the only man who hasn't. You can see him heading down the hill. the hills here really steep. We've actually got some great camera angles. This one down the hill gives you a good idea of just how steep it is. But Andrew, that corner drops away massively. And again, you've got to wait on the throttle. You can't pitch it in and pull it out with full drive.
You know, with it going steep downhill, you've got to remember that for your braking. You're going from tarmac onto the dirt, so you're going from different grip levels and changes. But Bowman, I think, has got this one in the bag. If he keeps it nice and clean and does a clean run, you know, he's got 6 seconds at the minute, so he's looking away with this. But there's 3 laps, and we've seen in these conditions, it's very, very tricky.
I'm kind of thinking Bowmanis might be wise to go now, as he's not made any mistakes, and he does. Bowmanis goes to the Joker lap right now. So Bowmanis, from the commentary position we can see, has gone to the Joker lap.
You must have heard you.
Yeah, and the rest of the train are following it through. Have a look in the back of his shot. There is Bowmanis, easy, straight out in front. So now, just no mistakes. But Linneman's going to apply the pressure.
Well, Linneman can, because he, you know, it's easier to in these conditions is to follow and chase. And you know, Bowmanis has got a big lead at that, but he needs to not watch his mirrors and to not make any mistakes. You know, in these conditions, it's such a fine line not to make any mistakes.
Bowmanis in Portugal was 3rd in the final. Qualified 17th in the UK, so either a lot of problems or just didn't get on well with the Linden Hill track. But yeah, this weekend at the minute he's looking like a surefire winner. He's got 2 laps to go after this one.
He'll be sat there, this could be his first win, and tricky conditions to do it, but if he can do it, it'll be such a great feeling for him to get that here in Norway.
On your birthday as well.
Absolutely, yeah, nice little present.
It was your birthday weekend, wasn't it, back in Linden? Maybe that's the trick to a decent result. Running one of Set Promotions cars, of course, these cars run by Jussi Pinamäki, who is the team manager, really, under Andreas Eriksson for Olsberg's MSC, Andrew, because Olsberg's have got so much on.
Yeah, they're doing a lot all over, you know, in Sweden, America, and the World Championship, and Jussi actually heads up the World Championship team, so they've got separate teams, separate mechanics for separate cars, and he heads up this project. And you know, when I raced at Linden, I learned a huge amount from him. He's a really, really switched on guy. He's been around the sport a long time, and he absolutely knows his stuff.
And been running these Super 1600 cars as well. I assume now there's someone else at the helm of that team, because he just wouldn't have time, would he?
No, I don't think so, but you know, they're still the pace setters, and in this division, Set Promotion are the team to really go to. You know, they've won the championship a huge amount, and the cars are very well turned out and always very, very quick.
Well, Bakker, of course, was Super 1600 champion and moved on to Supercars under Pinamäki, followed by Nitish. So, you know,
I think Tim Zarnov as well used to be in Super 16 as well, so it's a great platform to learn and to progress on to Supercars. As he said about Nitish, he's come from this and straight away he's one of the pace setters in Supercars.
It's interesting, well, talking to Pinamäki, of course, ex-driver, we said, did you miss it? Do you miss the racing? He said, no, he really takes a great reward from helping these young drivers on and making them quicker and quicker. And it looks like he might have another one in his hands here with Bowmanis. Bowmanis then, just 1 corner to go. The long right-hander, there he goes up the hill. He's going to take the victory. Linneman is going to get 2nd. Who's going to come through in 3rd? So it's Bowmanis for the win. 99 car, great job by him. Linneman in the number 2. And over the line, fantastic to see Isaac Zetra, the local driver. Look at Bowmanis, he's over the moon. Happy birthday, great job. Fantastic drive by him. And for the locals, Isaac Zetra coming through, the Norwegian driver on the podium as well. Here's the result: Bowmanis, Linneman, Isaac Zetra, Smetana, Zagimenov and Shigabutinov. Zagimenov, of course, was the winner of the first 2 rounds, and he finishes here in 5th. Here's some replays from the Super 1600 final. Andrew getting it off the line very
watch
hard.
the Saxon on the outside. He came from absolutely nowhere on the back row of the grid. Fantastic start all the way through to the front row.
So what's he done? Found traction? Was it a dry part of the track?
It might well be, but you know, he's probably, I think he's a local guy, so he probably knows this circuit, he knows the grip levels in the wet, and he's just got a fantastic start.
And there was your winner, Bowmanis. Very pleased he was too. Waving to the crowd, thumbs up, very happy chap. Here are the championship standings for Super 1600, the European Rallycross Championship, of course, for them. Sergei Zagimenov continues to lead. Ulrich Linneman is 2nd. Nikita Misulia is in 3rd. Shigabutinov, Bowmanis, Navika, Smetana and Stefan. Molly has been down on the pre-grid before the Supercar final with some of the drivers. Let's hear what they had to say.
Petter, sorry I have to interrupt. You know, you're in the final. How's it been?
I'm very happy, and I was very curious of what's going to be happening in the who's going right and who's going straight. So when I saw they were braking and they go into the right, okay, then I went straight. So, and then I did my best, clean and pushing just enough, and
and it worked out well. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
And your brother Henning's also in the final.
Henning is in the final. You know, he did a very good job, so he's fantastic.
So Ken, you're in the final here in Norway. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm really stoked. It's been sort of up and down and had difficulties with the start system, and even there in the semi I had another difficulty with it, but I am really stoked to be here. Really fun out there pushing with these guys and banging door to door, but I got pretty lucky once we got into the first corners. I was able to stick on the guy ahead of me and just kind of just stick with him, and hopefully it worked out when everybody came back together through the Joker. So I'm here. I'm stoked. First time coming out here and trying, you know, the World Rallycross Championship. So stoked to have actually a fairly good event, even with these little hiccups, and be in the final.
Thank you so much, Ken. Best of luck.
We can see how much that means to Ken Block. It's really, really nice to see the guy here. You know, let's not forget this is someone who's exceptionally famous. Thanks to the Gymkhana stuff, he's done the World Rally Championship. A very, very successful driver. Ken Block, so pleased to make it through to the Supercar final here at round 3 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. It'll be great to see how he gets on. The Monster Energy girls are down on the grid along with the start marshals. And we're getting ready for the Supercar final. We can hear the noise of anti-lag in the background as the drivers clean and warm their tyres. Rainy Snittish coming round to the front row. Petter Solberg is going to come around behind him. So front row for those two guys as winners of the semi-finals. I think Nittish is on the inside because he out-qualified Solberg, so it would have been a higher point scorer through the course of the event. Nittish very, very unlucky not to make the final at Lydden Hill. Andrew, of course, he was your teammate at Lydden. There was a problem with his car just before the final.
It was a great shame for me. For him, it was quite good for me. He got me up a further position, but he's been very quick all year.
Rainy Snittish then on pole with Petter Solberg alongside him. On row 2, it's both of the Peugeot Hansen cars, Timo Timosyanov and Timmy Hansen. And at the back, Ken Block and Henning Solberg.
So the start we were saying about the revs, that will have changed again because some of them might have fresh tyres and some might have slightly warm ones. I'd say they were on fresh tyres out on the Hansen car. So again, the revs are going to be crucial, and it comes down to team's experience for this sort of temperature, this sort of track grip to what it goes off at. Again, it's going to be interesting to see who takes the Joker. I'd think Solberg on the outside, if he makes a reasonable start, will go to the Joker straight away.
What about the Peugeot Hansen team? To me, they've got both their cars on the same row. In fact, looking at it, they're the only team with both cars in the final, so everybody else is kind of an individual in this fight, so surely they'll have made a plan about which way to go on this first lap.
I would think, the guy on the inside will go to the normal lap and the other one will go to the Joker lap. It would make no sense for them to do exactly the same. It'd be better to split both their options, but wet tyre then on one of the Peugeots.
Wet tyres.
But the tarmac, kind of looking out the window, looks to have dried a fair amount since they were last out.
I think that was Hansen. Looking at where our cameraman moved from, I think that was Hansen who's on
the
wet.
outside,
So I wonder if it's all round. We did see some people using both the Hansens possibly on wet tyres, but we think everybody else on dry tyres. So bear in mind, this is last-minute information that's coming through to us from our sources on the grid. It'll be very interesting to see what happens because the weather has changed again. We can now see miles down the valley. It is changing incredibly fast.
10 blocks on dry tyres there, you can see.
Here we go, final time for round 3 of the World Rallycross Championship. Can the Peugeot Hansens get a great start from row 2? They do indeed. Ken Block moves straight across to the inside, but it's a fantastic start though. Nittish, he goes into the standard lap. Solberg carries a load of speed around the outside. The Hansens did exactly what we thought. Solberg's gone on the inside.
Hansen, I don't know if he's damaged his suspension or he's just pushed him over. That is a big lunge by Henning on Hansen.
So Timmy Hansen has been binned right to the back of the field with contact with Henning Solberg at the start of the race. He's carrying on, but he's a long way back. Petter Solberg leads this one in front of his home crowd. It's Henning who's sitting in second place behind it. Oh, sorry, Petter is in third. My bad.
Nittish got the best start there, and I think this race is really going to come down to Nittish or Solberg. Solberg's the leading car at the Joker lap. Nittish is the leading car at Hazen, and we've seen they've been the pace setters all weekend.
Good job, Andrew Jordan rescued me there. He's watching properly. I'm getting too excited about a home win for Solberg. Nittish over the crest in the lead. Timosyanov has gone with him. Solberg will be hoping that he can close down the gap between them. Andrew Jordan is counting already to see what it is.
Henning Solberg's got broke left rear suspension now. I think that'll be from the hit up at the Joker lap with Timmy Hansen. On board is Solberg, will be pushing flat out now. The gap is actually about 3.5 seconds him to Nittish, and that at the minute would be enough for Solberg.
Supercharge award then has gone to Petter Solberg. He was the first man to cross a line which is painted across the track. It's not necessarily in the first corner because of the way the joke lap is just prior to it here. So it's Petter Solberg who wins the Monster Energy Supercharge award. And of course that was because he went for the joke lap, Andrew, so he was carrying masses of speed
he carried so much more speed. But look how much Nitish has pulled over Timazanov. You know, he's really got his head down, he's motoring on, but Solberg's closing on the pair of them.
Solberg, Nitish with a very, very fast last lap.
Yeah, actually, you know, Nitish has pulled 4/10 on Solberg at that, so that's taking it to like 4 seconds again. This is going to be really, really close.
Nitish at the bottom of the hill, that was where there was a huge hole last year coming up. There was a big one on the right during the day there. Nitish goes through it. Nitish has gapped Timazanov a bit here.
Andreas Eriksson's on the radio to Nitish, he's his spotter, and he's going to be pushing him like absolute mad because this is his opportunity. He's been quick all year, but this is his opportunity now to get a win.
If he takes a win, Andrew, do you think that's going to open the floodgates? Is it going to give him the confidence like it did last year with Baccarat?
I think so, you know, this is his first year in it. He's only 18.
Timazanov to the Joker, sorry Andrew, Timazyanov's gone to the Joker from second place. He's going to come back out behind Solberg, so Solberg then is into second place. Timazyanov dropped down to third. Nitish is the only man who hasn't jokered.
Nitish just set the fastest lap of the race again, a 39.8 as opposed to Petter Solberg with a 40.1, so it's going to be so, so close when they come out.
Nitish up towards the top of the lap. Solberg's chasing
I think
down.
Nitish has got enough. He's got 4.2 on Solberg.
Does he go now then? Do you go now and hope you come out in front of
I
Solberg,
think at this point you go to the end because he's pulling away at this point, so it's best to try and keep extending that gap, get the gap up as much as you can, and then take it on the last lap.
So Nitish then playing the long game. This is going to come down to the exit of the Joker lap on one of these last two laps. You can see at the top of your screen he's the only man who hasn't jokered. Petter Solberg's looking for that home win.
Nitish set another fastest lap, 3/10 quicker than Solberg.
Faster,
so right thing, just keep out front. Don't take the joke lap to the last lap because you're extending the gap, so it's best to keep on doing that.
Remember that this is a guy in the car from Latvia who was taking his maths exams before Lydden Hill, had to get a later ferry across to come and join his teammates in the UK. Doing an absolutely brilliant job. Ken Block as well, sitting in third place at the moment. We're not seeing him right now, but Ken Block sitting in third. Nitish then is going to head up to the Joker lap now. So watching Nitish into the Joker lap. He turns the car in early. It's slippery up there. Is he going to get the power down quickly enough? Nitish runs wide. Solberg is on the inside lap, but Nitish comes out in front. Solberg's late on the brakes. He doesn't run into the back of him. Solberg then with a sensible drive. He's now got to pile the pressure on, but Nitish just a little way to go to take that first Supercar win. Solberg over the curbs on the inside. Nitish up the hill, seems to have better traction. He's just got the left and the right to go. He's going to get the job done. Round the left-hander, hasn't run wide, turns it into the right-hand side. Solberg's not going to take the win at home. It's Nitish who takes his first win in the Supercar category, up and over the line. The crowd will be pleased with second for Solberg, and it's a podium for Ken Block on his debut in World Rallycross. Fantastic job by him. Nitish heads into half a celebratory donut. Oh, and his donuts from Ken Block as well on the straight. From the common tradition, we can see send the car into a spiral. Great job by him, a massive crowd pleaser. What a drive by Ken Block. Andrew, we didn't really see what Ken was doing, but he did a great job.
Fantastic to get a podium on his debut. Rennish is trying to do some donuts now. Hopefully he can get it going because Solberg and Ken Block's done some donuts.
Good lad from Nitish there as well. Same as Baccarat last year, wasn't it? Baccarat didn't know how to do it.
Solberg is a big for Nitish now. 18 years old,
brilliant.
first year, third ever event. Fantastic, really, really pleased for him.
Hansen has only just come up and crossed the line, so obviously things don't quite go according to plan for him. And look at that, Solberg's over to say congratulations to Nitish as well. Either that or he's broken his car and he wants to lift back, not quite sure, but Nitish is getting out. Latvian flag being waved by the crowd. Brilliant job. Fantastic, fantastic drive. Here is the result of round 3 of the World Rallycross Championship. Reinis Nitish takes his first ever Supercar victory. Petter Solberg is second in front of his home crowd. Ken Block is third. Timazyanov, Henning Solberg, and Timmy Hansen rounding out the top 6. Here's some replays from that race.
Henning Solberg on the inside, fair old hit into the right front of Timmy Hansen, pushed him right off line. It was a big old hit, that was. Bit of a lunge. You're looking back from Solberg, keep an eye on the white star. Just goes out of shot so you can't see. You'll see, here we go. But big lunge on the handbrake, just puts Timmy Hansen straight off line. So, bit of a hard move. You can see one of the Peugeots fitting in there. Solberg out in front at this point. He was chasing down Nitish, but Nitish had it covered really, and nice and neat. You'll see him just touch that brake, get the car turned, and then his eyes forward. You know, he's led lots and lots of rallycross races. He wasn't going to make a mistake. Look at the slow-mo, look at the front wheel on those curves, how big and aggressive those curves.
Absolutely massive. Brilliant drive by Nitish. Andrew, we saw him do this last year. I think he won 6 races. He nearly won 7 in a row in Super 1600 last year. It was ridiculous. And now he's bringing that same talent to this. He's won all 3 of the semi-finals he's been in. The guy is fantastic.
Yeah, and he's got such great experience. Look how much he's celebrating. He deserves all of that.
Solberg into the holding area at the end alongside Ken Block, who's in 3rd. Rainis Nitish will be there in just a few moments, I'm sure, and he'll be ever so pleased. Timmy Hansen, we've seen from the commentary position, seems to have hurt himself at some point in that race. Maybe that first corner clash, Andrew, he was holding his wrist. He's left the car at the start-finish line.
He literally stopped the car as quick as he could over the finish line. Got out, he was holding his hand and gone over to an ambulance. So I wouldn't mind betting. There's a lot of force goes through the steering wheel, and when he got a fair old whack in the right front from Henning, I would think that's probably tweaked his wrist.
On board from Petter, looking back, so you can see the 2 Peugeot Hansen cars. Watch, Timosyanov goes to the main lap, and Timmy goes to the other. Henning Solberg comes up the inside. Don't think we're going to see it. You might see, and there you see Timmy appear and head up the bank on the outside. So maybe tweaked his wrist in a contact there. Maybe it was later in the race we didn't see. We know that some of the other cars got past him later on. And this was where I thought Petter was leading. And of course, I'd forgotten the fact that a couple of guys hadn't gone on the Joker lap on the first lap. There is the man who did win, Rainis Nitish. Absolutely chuffed to bits. Everybody telling him brilliant, and it certainly is. Stood on the roof of his car in Austria last year with the Latvian flag as the Super 1600 champion. Don't forget, reigning Super 1600 champion. Here's the onboard from Ken Block.
See, he takes the normal lap. No, he looked like he was going to take the normal lap, and then aborted that and went to the Joker lap. So I think he probably thought he was going to get bulked up a little bit. Good move, to be honest, because it got him straight through and gained another position.
It wasn't. He moved across as well. Ken Block moved across, didn't he? Very early off the line, he moved to the inside, and I thought he's definitely going to take the standard lap.
I think he was. I think it was only at that last minute when he saw it all bottling up a bit. But frankly, that was a great move to do, and then he probably got him the podium. Which, his interview was so enthusiastic. He's obviously really enjoyed it. It's a great result for him. It's really nice to see.
He was really enthusiastic about driving on a track like this as well, because of course it's a traditional rallycross track with an awful lot of up and down elevation.
This is a proper old school rallycross track.
And he loves it, absolutely loves it. Ken Block on board with him now through that right-handed hairpin, up and over the crest. We know that we had a problem with Henning Solberg. This was, Henning broke his suspension, and Ken obviously got through at some point there.
Looks like Ken knows what he's doing there.
He does. I think he might have done 1 or 2 of those before. Rainis Nitish spinning the car round. Look at Petter. Get on the roof. Go on. He hasn't got to pay for that roof, has he, Petter? He ruined his own roof in Portugal, but Nitish, he's so pleased. It's nice, actually, that Petter gives him that credit as well, because Petter would love to have won at home, wouldn't he? We haven't actually had a home winner for a very, very long time. And not in the Rallycross RX era has anybody won their home race, and it hasn't happened yet either. Molly is down near the podium with our race winner, Rainis Nitish.
Rainis, it's your 3rd ever round in a supercar and you're #1.
Yeah, unreal. Unbelievable, the best in the hell. The Latvia helped me a lot, and Latvian spectators as well. And Disney Cup with the special Disney drink make me faster. I'm happy. I want to cry.
What happened in the final that gave you the win in the end?
I don't know what happened. I just, flat out and lap by lap and clean laps, and I did it fantastic without mistakes. And this was the first race where I didn't do no mistakes.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. It's so hard to speak after the hard race. Thank you very much.
Great job by Rainis Nitish. Here are the championship standings after round 3, and it's Rainis Nitish who moves to the top of the board with Petter Solberg in 2nd, Toppy Heiken in 3rd. Backerud drops from the lead to 4th. Timosyanov, Markland, Hansen and Larsen are the top 8. Ford Olsberg's MSC extend their lead in the team championship standings. Nitish with a win there. Markland Motorsport with VW a second and Peugeot Hansen a third. So it's the three manufacturers who top the standings. There are the guys on the podium. Reinis Nitish, so proud of his Latvian flag, and rightly so. It's fantastic to see the support that he receives as well from his countrymen who travel round with him. Petter Solberg, second place, but also with the Monster Energy Supercharge Award, of course, for being first into the first corner.
Norway, the winner from Latvia. Ladies and gentlemen,
Trophy for Nitish. You can see it means a lot to him. He really did look like he was going to burst into tears there. He's so chuffed, Andrew.
You know, he's going to put a huge amount of effort into this, so to see it all come to fruition and get the result he's wanted and look like he could achieve all year long, it's going to be a great relief for him, and it's great relief for the team as well.
He's really, really emotional. The Monster Energy girl's going to run for it, so they don't get so. Look at Nitish, she's going for it. Really, really pleased to have won. Solberg gives it to him fully in the face. Ken Block up there as well in third place on the podium. Ken gets it poured over his head. Great celebrations from these guys. So pleased for Nitish. He's such a nice kid. He was saying yesterday when we were talking to him, everybody else is sponsored by energy drinks, and he said, I bring my Disney drink, he said, because it says winning team on it, and he was right.
Yeah, he works really hard, but he just quietly gets on with it, as we've said before. Just quietly gets on with it. He's been consistent all year, and he's been one of the quickest drivers, and I think this is just going to boost his confidence even more.
Here are the European Championship standings. So Henning Solberg now leading after Robin Larsen didn't have a great weekend. Emil Oman did well. I think he retired in the semi-finals if I remember correctly, but he's third. Jerome Grosjean in with a blown engine. Walfridsson, Ken Block moves up to sixth with his performance this weekend. Daniel Holton and Tommy Russ. In fact, I think Ken Block, I believe, was the highest European qualifier this weekend. There they are on the podium. Press all around them. Reinis Nitish, I think, pretty pleased to be up there with Ken Block again. Petter launches some prizes off into the crowd. A few shots in the final for you. Look at the impact on that front wheel. Nitish around the sweeping left-hander downhill. Solberg so close behind him. Couldn't quite get the job done at home.
But Solberg looks really happy with that. You know, a podium at his home event, and he'll be thinking bigger picture game for this championship.
Molly is down at the podium with Ken Block.
Ken, are you pleased with third place?
Yeah, quite a surprise after all the sort of bad luck and little mistakes today and getting used to this new system. I couldn't be happier. I mean, of course, I would have liked to have won, but, you know, to go through all that and actually have a good position and chase this dude around at the end, it was a lot of good time. So thank you, especially all these amazing fans that came out. Huge crowd today, fun track. I couldn't be happier.
The worst thing is that my son is fan, you know, and and that's it's more on Ken. No.
Petter, how was the final?
Well, I'm very, very happy. You know, it's we are driving for championship, and we have to be very clever. And I drove very neat and smart, and Nitish did a fantastic job. I was driving behind him, and he was very clean. So it's no point to try to destroy anything for anybody. You know, it's a long championship, and he owns one thing now, so it's okay.
Ken Block, when will we see you back?
Well, I'll be back for France and Turkey, so stoked to come in and kind of get my feet wet here and see how the system works and end up on the podium. So I hope I can do the same in France, because now the bar's been set for me pretty high. So, but I'm looking forward to it.
Petter, your aim for the next round in Finland?
Well, for sure, you know, Nitish I won now, and that's fantastic. But for sure, next race, that track I like a lot, and I can. You need a little bit big balls to really push harder, so I really hope I can use them. But anyways, I'm really gonna try to win. But obviously, like I say again, to drive for the championship, it's very important.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but you know my feeling to be between two stars.
Well, a brilliant weekend here in Hell, Norway for round 3 of the World Rallycross Championship. My thanks to Andrew Jordan for joining us up in commentary. Look forward to seeing Andrew back in a car soon. This was on board earlier in the weekend with Markland. Janssen with an off on the inside. Andrew, it's been action all weekend, hasn't it?
It's been some great racing. We've seen some good new cars, but as usual, the pace setters from all season have come to the top here, and a great race for Nitish to get his first win at only 18 years old.
Absolutely.
I think we're just going to see him get better and better through the season, because that's going to be a huge confidence boost for someone at that age.
The pressure just doesn't seem to get to him. Really impressed with Ken Block as well, I have to say, through the weekend. just learnt and learnt and learnt, got faster and faster, managed to get the starts under control and gets a podium.
Yeah, he's stayed out of trouble, he's been quick, and as you say, he's learnt the process of how the World Rallycross Championship works, and I think he's going to be stronger when he comes back to France. He was going to be a serious threat there, and it's great for the championship that he's come and done it, and that he showed so well.
This, of course, was on to the semi-finals. Liam Doran didn't quite go his way with Timosyanov, got bottled up behind him and ended up with a puncture, I think, Andrew, wasn't it, for Doran?
Yeah, you've got a feel for him, because I think he could have, pushed Nittis. I really do. He's been very quick all weekend, Liam has, as he was last year. But, he's got the pace, they've just got to get a bit of luck, and I'm sure that time will come.
I think the confidence will be back for Liam. It was nice to see yesterday him a little bit happier with his performance. That was Heikkinen, getting fired off by Bakker, and Bakker was desperate to try and make it through to the final, but he didn't quite get it done. This was Nittis with Hansen. Nittis with another great job in his semi. That was Bakker giving Block a tap in the semi. Super 1600 action, very, very wet for their final, so a little bit timid compared to what we're used to seeing from the Super 1600s. Couldn't chuck it around in quite the same fashion as they normally do. But it was Balmanis who took the win, and then we saw the Supercar final, and it didn't disappoint. Hansen unfortunately got fired off early by Henning Solberg. It came down to Nittis and Petter Solberg, and Nittis managed to get the job done. The next round of the World Rallycross Championship is at Kouvola in Finland on the 28th and the 29th of June. We really hope that you can join us there. Congratulations to Reinis Nittis on his first win in World Rallycross.